Welcome. Tim Bart's here, McArthur Ford in Salina, Kansas. How's my audio doing? I just plugged in my mic like 30 seconds ago. So, all right, we're good to go. I think I got audio here. So, welcome everybody in. Do want to thank everybody for joining me tonight on tonight's live stream. I know there's all kinds of stuff going on tonight. We have Johnny was on. His video was going live at 6:30, so he was on earlier. Missed him because I was watching the reveal of the 2023 Ford Super Duty, and got a couple clips, got a little information. Some of it actually a lot of repetitive information from what I gave you guys last week on the Super Duty that I said was going to be revealed. So it may not have been too much of news, but more of a reveal of what it looks like tonight. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, been a good weekend. Don't know if you're a big sports fans, but if you're in Kansas, KU won. They're 4-0 in football, believe it or not. So first time in since 2009. So in Kansas, K-State's known for football. KU's known for basketball, just to let you guys know that. But also Kansas State beat number 6 Oklahoma as well this week. And one of our sponsors and one of the people that we advocate for and has done videos and commercials for us, Adrian Martinez, is a quarterback of the K-State Wildcats. So, so a great seeing that going on. But also, I do want to point out before we get into too much stuff, please this week especially right now, be in prayers for those that down in Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas as Hurricane Ian is coming through. Make sure that if you live down in there, hopefully if you're in Florida, you're probably not watching this and you're watching and you're taking care of your homes. But make sure we're keeping them in our prayers this week as that hurricane comes through, and hopefully everybody does and gets through this just fine. But I'd be thinking about a lot of those. We have a lot of viewers from down in Florida and Georgia and such that just thinking about this time right now this week. So be in prayers for them. Also, don't forget we are recording this as a podcast, so you can find this if you're watching this, you want to listen to this later. We have 15 different podcasting apps out there that you can find this podcast at. That's streaming, and so definitely check that out. I upload those right after this here, so usually by about 10 p.m. Central Time, you can be able to see that and listen to that podcast on those different podcasting channels. And also, if you are on a podcast listening to this, come on over and join us on the live stream. The link to that is down in the description as well. So you can find it there too. So on the podcasting channels, it's FordVideoGuy. You can find us. Some of them are with the space, some without. I can't remember on some of them. So also, don't forget, if you're not subscribed yet and you're bouncing in, finding it somewhere else, somebody told you about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that red subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified the next time I have another video. And shout out to my members. So those that have joined and become a member, so you can see those names there highlighted with the logos beside them. So just welcome in all of the members to the live stream that's here. A lot of people in here joining us tonight. Nice to see that as always. And don't forget, you become a member as well if you want to. Just hit the little join there beside the subscribe button on any of our videos as well as on our YouTube channel. So you can just go to our YouTube channel and see that. If you're not seeing that join button there, then you're probably on an iPhone or a tablet. And the way you find that, if you're on one of those types of devices, you can still get to that. What you want to do is pull up that Safari browser or Google Chrome browser, and when you first pull it up, you'll still be seeing the mobile website for that. So you want to go over there, click on the big A and the little A, so you can see the desktop version of that. So click on that, hit Request Desktop Website, and then it pulls up the internet as a desktop site, and then you can view it and you can see it says join there. So I want you to be in a desktop format to be able to see that. So I want to make sure everybody knows about that. Covered all that. This week, still don't have a lot of videos live for you because I usually record in advance and start putting those out. And so we have the Bronco changes for this year. That video should go live. I might have it go live late tonight. I actually have it ready. Just need to upload it to YouTube. And we have some other videos. We're going to try to work our way through the Bronco videos this week and have those go live. And this might be one of those weeks where you're going to have videos on Saturday and Sunday from me as well, because we're going to try to get these going and get those kicked out now that we have all those orders in place for the Maverick. So be looking for those videos, our complete guide suite of videos on the Bronco first, probably. And I think just because why I'm not focusing on the Maverick is because you can't order one right now. So, I mean, the information is available. I kind of talked about the changes video. I did that. I'll be doing the Maverick videos. Won't forget about them, especially as we talk about some things later in this video that you can highlight and you can make changes. I want you guys to know what is available for you on those different trims. Also, we will be going on Facebook Live this Thursday night, 6 p.m. Link is in the description. And as always, one of the channels I like to highlight on our channel is Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. His channel is linked in the description as well. I leave that in there because he needs to be acknowledged for all the good efforts he does as well with his channel. Just to kind of, I actually didn't mention it. If you do have any questions, right down here, you can see. So if you have any questions that I don't answer here, if you're watching this recorded, you can go to FordVideoGuy@gmail.com and we can get your questions answered. If you have a sales related question, go ahead and send that to me at timothybarts@gmail.com. You might allow 24 hours response to those because I get a little behind sometimes. So Christian, 3-month member there, says being a member is the best, cheapest investment you can make in being an informed buyer. Thanks, Tim, Sarah, and the crew for all you do. Yes, we have a lot of fun with those videos. So thank you very much, Christian. I appreciate it. And I can't remember, Maverick Truck Club, I can't remember. I think he's the outdoorsman on there. So see, I'm tying some of this stuff together between Maverick Truck Club, YouTube, and their real names to get everything together. Luckily, your YouTube name is your real name. So, all right. Also, don't forget to, our agenda is right there. Let's see if I get this right. Right there. There you go. So we're going to talk next about the good dealer highlight. Then we're going to go to the scheduling information, build and price updates, 2023 Super Duty reveal. I did get a couple pictures. Is it true? Order is in. What's next? And then any live Q&A after that. So let's first talk about a good dealer. We do have, Lene's been on our videos watching for a long time, has had a Maverick on order, finally received her Maverick, and so she wants to highlight her dealer in Florida. So Randy Neiswinder, I'm probably just chopping that up. I'm bad with getting that right. So hopefully, I apologize, Randy, if I said your name wrong, which I probably did. He is at Jarrett Ford in Dade City, Florida. He was my sales consultant, she said. She said, Randy has sold me all of my vehicles since the 1990s. He is very knowledgeable and helpful. I have been a customer of Jarrett Ford since 1990s. They have always been professional and put their customers first. Today I picked up my 2022 Maverick EcoBoost Lariat, ordered on November 3rd, 2021. They honored the November deal for both the Maverick with no markup, no deposit, MSRP only, and the same trade-in value for my 2020 Sport Track. So if you're in Florida, you're needing a good dealer, wanting to find one, Dade City, Florida, go to Jarrett Ford and ask for Randy. So good job, Randy, and the group there at Jarrett Ford for everything they do there to another good dealer highlight there for us. Now let's get into the scheduling information. And for those of you that have just put an order or are new to the YouTube, to our community here, a lot of new people putting in 23 orders for the first time and wanting to know what's all about. And our videos, this live stream kind of helps out with that. We're going to kind of talk a little bit about that. So when we talk about scheduling notes or scheduling information, we're talking about what vehicles are scheduling for. So what model lines, we'll break it down that way. And then we'll talk about what's scheduling. Well, that means that each given week, you can get your order that you submitted could get scheduled for a production date in the future. So this week they're going to be scheduling for certain dates. So the dates I tell you are the dates that they're scheduling for build dates and build weeks, right? Out in the future. And then also we'll kind of talk about some other information, like if there's anything scheduling wise that says, hey, you might consider doing this or this if you want to get scheduled faster. So we'll go over that each week in this. So the 2022 model year Maverick, it is looks like they are going to plan to schedule, and it seems like we're kind of towards the end of scheduling for September. So this is what they call cleanup weeks, which means they've kind of already scheduled out most of them, but they have some holes to fill. And so they'll use these last weeks to kind of fill in some of those last holes there. So they are scheduled for the weeks of 10/31 to 11/21. So that's why you see a lot of dates, because there's several, maybe some openings, a couple openings here and there. So any notes that they said, they did say several trip related constraints might require spec changes and or cancellations of scheduled orders. So don't have to move some things around or cancel some. So this is build out for them, and build out means that they're trying to get their last solid orders in there to finish out the 2022 production before going into 23. Now the 22 Escape and Corsair, because they're made at the same plant, they are scheduling this week. No hybrid scheduling though for the weeks of 10/31 to 11/21. Again, it is a cleanup week for them. A couple notes for that is the F Series has balanced out for 22 model year. So if you had an S Series and you're not scheduled yet, you probably won't get scheduled. SEL Tech Package, Titanium Elite Pack, Titanium Premium Pack have balanced out for 22 model year for stock order type. So that's only for stocks. So they're going to focus on retails for the rest of those. 23 model year Bronco Sports. We're working on 23 model year now. They are not scheduling this week. 23 model year Edge and Nautilus, again, made at the same plant. No scheduling as well for this week. 22 model year Bronco, no scheduling. So they are pretty much done with scheduling for 22s for the most part. Let's see if there's any. Actually, should see if there's notes on the Edge. Edge, they're saying they're going to start up. Actually, it's a 23 model year startup scheduling completed on 9/22. Okay, so they're starting to get ramped up on that. Bronco Sport as well. They did schedule a bunch last week for the startup. So probably there's a short, since it's not a full month for the startup for both of those model lines. Last week they scheduled, it looks like, for what they can handle for those months. So probably won't schedule this week, and then start scheduling again next week for those for the next month of ordering or build dates, I should say. And then 22 Bronco, it just says that 23 model year system fill begins 10/6. So the looks like they're letting people make changes to those 23 orders that didn't get scheduled for 22, and then they'll start scheduling. It looks like maybe 10/6. So coming up here a couple weeks for those 23 model year Broncos. 23 model year Explorer and Aviator. That is startup, so they're scheduling for the weeks of 10/31 to 11/28. So there, it looks like they're filling in some slots for the startup for those model lineups. See if there's any notes in here for the Explorer. I'm not getting any Lincoln notes anymore, so I think they're really trimming back on Lincoln dealers, and they're really like almost trying to force some of the smaller Lincoln dealers out. Since we sell about 8 to 10 a month, I think they're trying to force us out of being a Lincoln dealer. But anyway, I don't know, just my take on that, because they're not giving us a lot of information anymore. We weren't invited to the Lincoln dealer meeting. We were too small, evidently. So anyway, so on the Explorer, it says we're talking about Explorer. 22 model year spec change and cancellations turned off, so because we're done with that. 23 model year retails will schedule within dealer allocation, so they are scheduling those. And then 23 model year Expedition and Navigator, again, built at the same plant. 11/14 to 11/28, and that is for startup for 23. Any notes here? It says limited scheduling of mahogany interior. Consider changing to different trim to improve scheduling chances. Also says dual exhaust, which is standard on Timberline, and limited 304A. Limited availability to start on the 23 model year. So if you have those, you probably won't get selected. 22 model year Maverick, they are still, it says they're building out still with some others. It says 10/3 to 11/7, again 22. No scheduling this week for 23 model year Maverick. It'll probably be next week at the earliest. Haven't seen anything on Maverick. It says spec changes, cancellations will be shut off on September 15th. Well, that's kind of outdated once you take it off there. Consider removing XLT Lariat tow equipment packages, splash guards, bed covers, edge protectors, and tow hitch, and that's for 22, not for 23, so keep that in mind. So anyway, so nothing really new there, because we haven't seen, all of our allocations are gone, and they've already scheduled for those. 23 model year Ranger, no scheduling this week. Again, it was a startup for Ranger, so they've got the orders they needed, although we do have some allocations that haven't been fulfilled. But anyway, 23 model year F-150, it is a 10/31 for that week. They're scheduling for that week. Build out, it says, so they are trying to finish out F-150. It says very limited 2 kilowatt power inverters, moonroofs, tailgates, or power tailgates, I should say, 5.0 and 3.3 liter engines available. So what that means for people that are new here is that they're they will schedule some of those things, but very limited on how many they'll schedule. So if you have the 2 kilowatt optional Pro Power on board, either consider removing it or just know that it might not get scheduled and it might get pushed to 20. That will get pushed to pushed a little bit. If you have a moonroof, again, if you don't want to take it off, then just know that it might take a little while to get scheduled. And also power tailgates. So that'd be your lariats with the power tailgates and such. All right, moving on down, we do have the 2022 model year Super Duty for 12.5 build out. So they are finishing out because they're going to start scheduling in some of the 23s here. As we start, the order banks will open up here 10/17. So we're coming up close. Super Duty says following an ineligible for stock orders. So this is basically for dealers. If you have a dealer out there, tonneau covers are not going to be scheduled, as well as one of the Continental tires that you see on the 450 pickups. The D331GL Continental tire will not be selected. So there you go. And then 22 model year Transit, actually 23 model year is starting for the Transit Connect van. They're scheduling for startup for the weeks of 10/31 to 11/14, as well as 23 model year Transit Connect wagon, same dates as well for startup. And then 23 model year Transit for the week of 11/28. The only note on that, there was no notes on the Transit Connect van and wagon. Transit itself does say very limited 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine for scheduling, and it says very limited AM/FM stereo with digital clock and audio input for scheduling. We've talked about that in the past. And very limited static blending headlights for scheduling. So if you have any of those, remember, just know that it may not get scheduled, okay? If it does, you're one of the lucky few. 23 model year Mach-E, we have startup happening. We had 4 of ours got scheduled last week, but they are scheduled for the weeks of 10/31 to 11/28. So it does say U.S. retail sweep to fill remaining. It says PR 908 allocation, whatever that means. It says Mustang Night Pony package full for November. So we had somebody that had that package, so they got in there early. So that was great for them, because they are not going to be able to fulfill any more night pony packages for the month of November's production. Now, I'm not talking about future production, just for the month of November. So keep that in mind. So there we go. There's that information. Okay. And again, I'll get questions here, as you can see at the end there. Thank you. What's that? Hermina Neo for subscribing to the channel during the live stream. Appreciate that. All right, let's talk about some dealer notes and updates that I've received for this week. First one, it's just a shocker. More constraints, more problems. These first 3 are all about constraint items and production issues. This first one says, due to supplier shortage of interior vehicle or exterior vehicle badges, some 22 model year F-150 and Super Duty vehicles will be shipped and can be sold to customers with temporary or missing badges. So temporary missing badges will not impact the vehicle's performance in a functional capacity. So all temporary badges will be molded in color black. So basically the badges that are on the side, that are on the fender, as well as possibly the engine badge that's on the door or the back of the tailgate, some of the vehicles will come without those for right now, because their supplier is behind, I guess. So it says on the F-150, it says temporary F-150 badges could include both side fender nameplate trim badges. You know, basically it says XLT on the side, as I just mentioned, the fender badge. Missing badges could include both the door powertrain badges, like Power Boost on the side, or Power Boost would be hybrid. Also, if it's a Texas edition or an Oklahoma, it could have the XLT Texas Oklahoma badge missing. The EcoBoost badge on the tailgate, also King Ranch badge on the tailgate could be missing. And on the Super Duty, temporary Super Duty badges could include both side fender nameplate badges. So basically, there's an opening for those to go into place. They have to fill that up. So what they'll do is they have a molded in piece that they'll put in there in place of it. For now, it won't have the trim name on it or anything. It will not be chrome. It'll be molded in black on all of them. And then hopefully they assume they're going to send them the right ones to you, and then you can replace it. The dealer can replace those. They just pop in and out, from what I understand. And then missing badges could include both the powertrain badges, like the Power Stroke, or the King Ranch badge on the tailgate. So there you go. Not one that I would have never thought. The stinking badges, right? Isn't that in a movie or something? All right. So next, the 23 model year Transit auto start stop removal. So an existing 23 Transit order that has been submitted with the 3.5 liter V6 and a 3.5 liter EcoBoost V6, which is engine 998 or 99G, will now no longer receive the auto start stop technology nor the switch on the dash to disable the technology. So the auto start stop removal option 19X is now a required option. So don't know if Ford will go ahead probably and switch that, or if you need to put that on your order. But if you've noticed ones maybe don't get scheduled as dealers, you might want to go ahead and make sure those get added to your vehicle so they can get selected for scheduling. And they did say that'll get updated in the order guide soon. Give me just a second. Let me put the old phone on to silent so we don't have anybody bother me. Everybody that I know knows where I'm at right now. But all right, next one is a 23 model year Transit new key option. So again, because of constraints and issues, Ford will be implementing a new key option for the 23 model year Transit and will provide a $500 credit for the new option. I didn't know that a keyless entry key was worth $500, whereas the multi-contoured seat was only worth what, $300. Whatever. This new required option will include 2 keys with depopulated, that means no keyless entry function, key fob. So basically it will just be a key that unlocks the door manually and then allows you to start the vehicle. So that's what you'll have to help customers receive their vehicles sooner. And you know, on a lot of these Transits, these are for companies, these are for workers, and they're like, hey, I need the van, get it here. I'll deal with the key, whatever. I need the work. I need the van. I need the truck to do work, or the van to do work, right? So this new option, 2 keys with depopulated, no keyless entry function, key fobs, which is 19W, is now a required option unless you have the intelligent access with the push button start 41J. So if you have that, then you will not have that. So it's only for those with the flip key, with the keyless entry, won't have the functionality of that. And lastly, just came in today, the 23 model year Lightning Wave 1 to 3 closings. So let me read this. So 22 model year F-150 Lightning customers who previously chose to waitlist their reservation and received an order invitation for waves 1 and 2 for 23 model year, as well as wave 3 customers that were invited, they will have until 9/30. So we have, what, 3 days. So you have until the 30th of this month to submit an order with your dealership for configurations excluding the Pro and the XLT series. So if you want a Lariat, you want a Platinum, you got a wave invite, you need to get that order in. Customers who do not place their order by 9/30 will not be able to convert to an order until the next wave of invites. So let's not get confused here. It doesn't mean you're done and you don't have another chance. It means that they're going to close it off at that point, probably for about a week. And then when they open up for wave 4, you will still be able to go in there. So the invite's going to stay there. So let me read on. It says right here, reservation holders that did not receive an invite do not need to take any action, and the reservation will remain in line for the future. Invited reservation holders will have the ability to order other available configurations through 9/30. So if you have one in there, you can go ahead and order a Lariat or a Platinum. And then also it says if a customer's preferred configuration becomes unavailable, like the Pro or XLT, they can cancel their reservation to receive a deposit refund, or wait until their desired configuration becomes available. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, maybe even last week, that if you got an invite, we have 5 people that have a wave 3 invite that have not converted theirs over to an order because several of them want to wait for the XLT. And at this point, they just leave that in there until XLT becomes available. Still have customers here. They're supposed to be gone by now. All right. Let's move on. So the build and price updates. So 2022, and I actually did not check to see if this is working because of the Super Duty. So let me see if we got this working here. Pull this up. See if it's working. Move it over here for a second. It is not working. So let's go over here. There we go. Let's make this the right size. Not quite the right size. Anyway. I didn't check this out before we started. Okay, there we go. So we do have the build and price available for the 2023 Bronco. It is a little hard to find. So it's not on the website for customers to see because they don't want customers to think they can order a 23 Bronco right now, a new order. So this is available for those that have a 22 order. That went unscheduled, that was being converted over to 23 order. So just so you know that's available. So you'll want to go and talk to your dealers about updating that, but you can go and build out your own Bronco right now on their website. So most of you that went unscheduled should have received an email with this website on there. So basically you can see it right up here. So it says shop.ford.com configure or /configure /Bronco /2023 /model /customize / and then whatever the model is. See, if I move this, that changes from Badlands to Heritage Edition to Outer Banks. So you can just put in base if you want, and it comes right on up to this right here. So that is available for you to start configuring and seeing what's available right now. I'm going to start doing videos based off of this here this week. Again, I kind of go over this information on the what's new that's going to be live probably tomorrow morning. Again, it's edited and everything. We just need to have it go live on YouTube. So anyway, so that is available for those that want to check that out. So there you go. Oh. There you go. I guess it did come up. I just didn't have it selected. Also, let's talk about the Super Duty. So we're moving down to the 2023 Super Duty reveal. So that was revealed today, tonight, 6:15. We're supposed to be able to order those October 17th, I believe, for the new Super Duty. So some big advances. Now, really, what's happening here on this is we're getting some of the technology that we're seeing on the F-150 now getting rolled over into the Super Duty with this new 23 Super Duty. So let's see. I did grab a couple of screen grabs here. Actually, these are from Ford's media that I pulled while I was watching it. So a little bit different redesign and look up here. You're seeing that C-clamp LED light around that. They've made the grill come out a little bit further out into over those headlights now. I don't know. No, not sure what I think about that. I think this is maybe a Tremor edition here, or maybe actually almost looks like a King Ranch, if that's kind of that there. So a little bit different front end and look to the vehicle. So kind of like that there. And let's see here what we got next. Okay, so this one here is, I believe this is an XL with the STX appearance package. So you can kind of see they are bringing that grill out. So they're kind of filling in the middle there with the black grill like you'd see on the STX F-150. And then they're bringing those, the kind of the designs around and kind of circling those back and forth around those headlights there, and then making those LED lights out around that. So it makes it real easy to be able to slide an LED light in between there right underneath that hood, doesn't it? Kind of looks that way. And then you'll see here, we're going to be getting the work surface. So for the Super Duty. Now this in here happens to be with the bench seat, but the console with the flip out one probably will also be available too, I would assume. But this isn't one of the images I grabbed real quick. I had about 15 minutes to throw these together real quick before the live stream. But you can see kind of what that's going to look like there as well. And then I think what else do I have? There's some steps. So they're putting a step. I don't know if you noticed it on one image. They're putting a step right there. That is where the cab, right in between the wheel and the cab itself. So you can just step on that and get in. So in the past, you had you pushed it out and you could flip out that step out. And now they've integrated in there on all their trucks for this. So you can get into your truck there. So. And then we do have, there's an image that I grabbed of the interior. You can tell this is probably a limited edition here, but you can at least get the scope of what the dash is going to look like in a way of configuration. So real similar to that. Actually, looks identical to my Expedition. So, so Expedition, Navigator, and Super Duty is made at the same plant in Kentucky. For that reason, they actually share the dashes. So if you look at the dash on my Expedition, it's going to look just like this one here. We don't have the trailer, the Pro Trailer on board system, or the Pro Trailer backup assist, I should say. So we won't have those dials, but otherwise, this dash looks just like our new Expedition. So pretty cool on how that looks. For that right there. So anyway, a few things there. So they mentioned, the OTA, they're going to have Sync 4, so over-the-air updates to be able to, any technology and software updates are going to be able to be evolved into that. I like that. I have an F-150 that I just received, that I just got 22, and I like that they're going to bring in some new technologies, and I won't have to go and buy another edition truck to get those. They're going to be given to me by the OTA updates. Really cool. Also, they're going to get Pro Power on board, so they're going to be these engines. Of course, they're not electric, but they're going to give them that 2 kilowatt Pro Power on board available for them for their job sites and such in the vehicles, so that's good. Also, onboard scales are going to come over to the Super Duty, so they can be able to weigh those out, and all kinds of camera system. Now, I mentioned this last week. All the different things, you know, they're bringing a new, of course, an updated and new 6.8 liter gas engine to go along with the 7.3 liter Godzilla engine that we already have, as well as we have a 6.7 liter diesel engine, but they're going to have a high output diesel engine as well. Again, we talked about this last week, so I won't go into that too much, but wanted to show you a couple of screen grabs from the release earlier today. Well, 45 minutes ago, right? Now, let's talk about, is it true here? So little G Fuel drink there. All right, so I saw something out there going out about customers not being able to drive their Mavericks that just came in and taken delivery until January of 2023. So let me get into this, because I think there are people that are that have a 23 in order and maybe even a 22 that's on its way, and they're a little nervous. They're not going to be able to take delivery. So as we mentioned, we talked about the recall that went out, the side airbag recall. That is what they call a stop sale. So if a vehicle comes in that was made before July 9th, I believe was the last date on that, then it would have that recall. Well, right now, they don't have the airbags available to finish the recall out until possibly January 2023. So if you are one of those customers that had yours built in the month of June, and it was sitting and they're now taking delivery, you are one of those unlucky few. Now, if you already took delivery of your vehicle and yours comes up with this recall, you can continue to drive your vehicle until the parts come in January, which is it's great if you're in that situation. And it's great if your vehicle was built after July 9th of 2023. So we just had about 10, or wait, we've had like 9, maybe, we had 3 come in today. I think we've had like 12 vehicles come in the last week, Mavericks. And we've been able to, we check all those, none of them have the recalls. So none of them will have an issue with those. So anything built after July 9th are not having those the airbag recall on them. So if you have a 23 on order, you're nervous about that, you don't have to be. You're going to be good there. If you have one that's on its way to you, more than likely, if you look at that build date, if it was built in August, you're good to go. If you're built in late June, July, you're good to go. So we have 2 that are sitting at the plant that have been sitting there since July 6th and 7th. And didn't think about it until I started talking about this recall, but they first were sitting for a microchip hold. But now I think the reason they're sitting is because I think they have the airbag recall. So you'd think, though, if they're able to put the new airbag in the ones built in August, they'd have at least some to build those, right? So I don't think it'll be a January hold for those 2 customers. I think eventually they'll get those airbags installed. I think they're sitting there because they need the new airbags put in them before they can ship them out. So they're probably focusing on those vehicles that they were lucky enough to get held up and not be delivered to us, because at that point they would probably set until January. So anyway, so is it true? Yes. If you have a vehicle that was built before July 9th, it was in transit and it's arriving at dealers, and it was delayed in shipment and such, then yes, you could have a recall on yours. But if yours is built after July 9th, you should be good to go and be able to take delivery of your vehicle. So, all right, let's talk about tonight's topic. Now that your order is in, now that your 2023 order is in, what's next? And I'm talking about not just the Maverick, I'm talking about any of the new 23 orders that are in. So what are some of the next steps that we're talking about that you need to think now that it's in? One of the things is, kind of talked about COVP and how it's important. Ford said on the Maverick anyway that it's recommended dealers do COVP, but it's not required on those. But it is required on all the other models to do. And I would say dealers need to do it on their Mavericks as well. I think it'll make an impact. There could be a possibility that it could help down the road. We're doing COVP in all of ours. We have, I think, as of last night, we had 500 of our 800 entered in to COVP with a good, week and a half left to go. So we should be good to go. I know she's been working hard at that up till, I think she's been working about 14-hour days putting those in. So anyway, so COVP is very important. So you want to make sure that gets done on your orders. But outside of that, we're kind of just in a hold pattern. So at this point, you have that order in. It's going to be a little while before we can start seeing scheduling for 23. But at that point, you're just kind of waiting to get scheduled. But what if you decide while you're waiting that you want to make some changes? What changes can be made on your order? About all the models, about any changes can be made to your order. So if you want to change the trim, you want to change the equipment, the packages, you can make those changes if you'd like to. So I do want to let you know that when you do decide to make those changes, keep in mind that, making the changes is pretty easy in the WebDo system. Make the changes doesn't take but a couple minutes, maybe 5 minutes for a manager to make those changes. But then after that, you're going to want a copy of those changes, right? You're going to want to see that Ford accepted those changes, all right? That takes about 24 hours to get that. Plus, the salesperson is going to want to make sure he has information, copy that, send it over to you. There's a lot of things that has to happen to that. So I do recommend, if you're thinking about making a change, think it through real good, and kind of make that change with your dealer. So some dealers are really good about saying, yep, we can make those changes for you, and some dealers are like, no, you can't make those changes. So it's not that they can't make it, but they want to, I think they just, they think if they just keep allowing changes, that people will always keep changing their mind until it actually gets scheduled. But you can make changes, let them know that it can be done. Now, I will tell you, on the Maverick, though, there is one exception to that, and the engine cannot be changed. So you can't change from a hybrid to an EcoBoost or an EcoBoost to hybrid. At one point, I thought, well, they'll let you go from hybrid to EcoBoost, but they won't. They've locked out both of those engines. So I've actually tried it with a hybrid going to an EcoBoost, and it says the EcoBoost is sold out or balanced out, as well as going from EcoBoost to hybrid. So you cannot change your engine at this time. I have noticed I can still change the trim, even though they said the PEP code, which is a primary, or let's see, what is it? Something equipment packages or whatever, that is your trim. They said that would not be allowed to be changed. I was able to make a change to a trim the other day, Monday, I think. So as of right now, you can make those changes. Body type, or the body code, which is going from front wheel drive to all wheel drive, they say that's not going to be able to be done. I have not tried it myself because I don't want to make a change to somebody's order, but it looks like it allows me to move to that. I haven't tried to save one or submit one yet, so keep that in mind. It does look like it'll allow you to make those changes right now to those as well. And then color changes are very easy to do even after you get scheduled. Hold off questions until I get through this, and we'll get to all the questions, so I might have to ask you to post those again. Can Ford customer service see the trim packages and options on your order? I don't think so. I think what they're saying is just some of your basic order information to let you know what your status is on your order, not necessarily what your order looks like. And then Alec said, Ford, are we ever going to get the Ford Everest in the U.S.? I don't know. That's a European-made model, just like I think there's one for that's similar to the Escape. So probably not. Those are for Europe. So now, when is the best time to make changes? So if you're working with your dealership, when is the best time to make changes? So let me tell you a little bit about scheduling. We talked about scheduling information earlier, and one thing to keep note of is Tuesday, Ford starts previewing orders. So they start looking at the orders based on how they're configured. So Tuesday and Wednesday, and even early Thursday morning, they're kind of previewing orders. They're looking at the orders. And if your order is being previewed and it has a P under that status, you don't want to mess with that order because it's actually being looked at by Ford as possibly fit the criteria that they're looking to schedule for. Now, if it doesn't get selected, if you're previewing on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, and it doesn't get selected on Thursday, then it could be because of not necessarily that it had a problem with it, but that they didn't have enough allocations, or there's something else there. So keep that in mind. So I wouldn't try to make changes on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So if you want to make changes to an order, try to do it Friday, maybe Monday, and make those changes then. So Larry, thanks for the donation there. I appreciate it. It says 2 dealers in Houston told me that there will be 0 retail orders for 23 Broncos, and Ford will not take new retail orders until the 24 model year. Don't think that's true. So they did tell us that they're not taking new 23 orders yet, but I think maybe early 23 is when we might see those, so first quarter. They did tell us fourth quarter originally that we'll be able to do new retail orders, but now they're saying, I did see something where it says 2023, so I think it's going to be maybe January or December or January. But no, I don't think that they have more than what they get built for a whole model year. I mean, think that through. I don't think there's enough orders in there for an entire model year to be built. So I don't think that is true. So I think that's false. But I guess, I don't know. Not sure where they're getting information, but there's been no news bulletin that I'm aware of that can say that. So. All right, now let's talk about some other things. One of the things you might want to also, while you're waiting for your order to be selected for scheduling, is continue to watch the live stream. I talk about constraint items and some things that Ford says, hey, watch these. We talked about it earlier when I was going through some of the vehicles where I said, hey, limited scheduling for, like on the Expedition, said limited scheduling for mahogany interior. That is a clue to you that if you have that configuration, it would take longer to schedule. Otherwise, if it doesn't have anything, then you're good. Like this in dual exhaust isn't going to be as limited availability at startup of 23. So if you have those types of configurations, so be looking. We kind of cover that stuff in our live stream. So I would encourage you to watch every Tuesday, or watch the recording, either one, and come over and see those. Stay up to date on those constraints. And if you do have a constraint, think about removing some of those. So like I mentioned, the Maverick is real hot right now. Of course, it sold out in 4 or 5 days, right? So some things you want to stay away from if you want to get yours selected early and you want to get it quickly. Stay away from those bed accessories, the bed covers, the bed liners, the bed extenders, the bed mats, the splash guards, any of those dealer installed options that you can get and put on yourself later. Leave them off your build. Just take care of the factory equipment. The manual sliding rear window, you're fine. The hitch, you should be fine. The spare tire, you should be fine. So those are things that should not hold up your build. Now I will tell you with the hitch can be installed by your dealer, and usually can install the 4-pin wiring, which is what you'd get from the factory if you get the optional hitch. The only way you'd have the 7-pin wirings if you have the 4K tow package. So keep that in mind. So keep some of those things off your build, and just know that those things are constrained. And anything you can add to your vehicle down the road, hold off on those. Don't put those on your builds. That is if you want to get it quickly. If you want it done at the factory, you don't want to pay the little extra cost of installing yours. Having to install it yourself. Then go ahead and put it on there. But just know that's going to take longer. Okay, what else do I have in my notes? Also, when does scheduling happen? So as I mentioned, they start looking at orders on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday morning. They start scheduling Thursday afternoon. So Thursday afternoon is when they're going to start pulling those. So for instance, let me pull up our webdo here, see if I can give you an example. There you go. Yeah, I still have that. So, all right, let me log into webdo here. I'll give you just an example. Chris, welcome to the McArthur crew. Thank you very much. Make sure you check out all the different videos. And go. Okay. While we wait for that, how's everybody doing? Come on, Ford. They probably turn it off. It said Tim's live stream's going. Shut that off. Well, anyway, so each month vehicles will be scheduling, and I was going to show you some because I know we have some allocations available for some models. Okay, that's not coming up. So they're not letting me. They're not letting me in. Okay, well, that's not working. So anyway, you should be able to see whether or not your vehicle is scheduled by your dealer. Not all dealers will let you know that, but they'll let you know on Thursday. Now, one of the things that we found out is a lot of times you won't get notifications on certain models. We did see some people that were scheduled for the Bronco Sport last week, as well as the Mach-E, and they got notifications that their vehicle got scheduled. So some model lines will let you know when it gets scheduled on a Thursday night or a Friday, but some models like the Maverick, because of constraint and having to move orders around, they stopped doing that. So, but you can call Ford's 800 number, and they can let you know if it gets scheduled, or you can just call your dealer. Your dealer can tell you as well. So it doesn't take long to look it up, unless the system's not working. I just got a 401 error, whatever. So anyway, so just keep that in mind. Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening is usually when those get scheduled out for builds. Sometimes it's as early as noon our time, 1 o'clock. Eastern. So just keep that in mind. Also, let's talk about the one of the other things that was going out, and that is the Ford price list. So we did see some people saying, hey, I want to get the power seat, but I don't want to get the luxury package on the XLT. Well, a lot of people use the price list that went out there on social media and on the Maverick Truck Club as knowing that those are the options available and here's the prices for those. But keep in mind that is a price list for dealers, so they know what cost of everything is. And so there are some options in there that you cannot take certain criteria to get them, and they won't tell you on the price list. So I would recommend not using that and for something of what you can select. So we had a lot of people like, I want the power seat, it's this option. Well, we know that's what the option it is, but unless you're a fleet company, you can't order the power seat without going to the luxury package on the XLT. But a lot of customers don't know that. So there's some other things like the reverse sensing system. The only way to get that is to go to the luxury package on the XLT or the Lariat trim. But for a fleet company, they could order as a standalone option to make sure their drivers are safe. But again, you have to be a fleet company to get that option. Another one, some people says, hey, I want that Copilot 360 and 360 assist package. Okay, does require to have a Lariat trim and does require to have the Lariat luxury package. So there's some requirements to getting some of those options. So again, that's why I recommend you not use that price list as a guide for you of what you can do and just a la carte things, because it doesn't always work that way. So just want to throw that out there. And you might know what some things may not work with others. So if you have like a black appearance package and you want the trimmer, well, they're not compatible with each other. You have to pick the trimmer, and you cannot pick the black appearance package together. So keep that in mind. Also, the black appearance package is not compatible with the FX4 package and some things like that. So just things that you need to just work with us here, and we'll be going through videos and going over all that shortly. Now let's talk about priority codes, because that's also something that a lot of people ask about. What do these priority codes mean? Because usually when you call Ford customer support, they're going to tell you what your priority code is. Well, priority code 0 to 9 is for the region. So the region's looking at orders for dealers, and if they give a dealer allocations, they'll base those allocations on certain orders. And when those orders are selected as receiving allocations, they'll bring those orders down to a priority 2, which means they're going to look at those orders first. The lower the better. So it's kind of like a golf score, right? Lower the better. If you're a priority 2, your order's going to be looked at before a priority 10. And then there's priority 10 to 19, and that is for the dealer to dictate and move those orders around however they see fit between 10 and 19. The default for the system when you first start and put in an order is 19. The system automatically just puts a 19 in when you select a retail order. And a retail order is a custom order for a customer. So when that's put in, it automatically goes to 19. So don't fault a dealer if you see your order says 19. You might just let them know, hey, mine's on 19. Can I get a little bit lower priority, or you just put them all at 19? What is your method? And kind of look at that. So, and really the only disadvantage is if yours is at 19 and some managers put others at 10s, then that would be a disadvantage for your order, because then it wouldn't be looked at until all the 10s are looked at first. So most dealerships have a certain way of doing things. We here always would put our orders in as a 10 for all of our retail orders. But right now for this model year, it's a little bit different. So because the 22 orders that didn't get scheduled last year are getting rolled over to this year, and we have to put them in as new orders, there's no date protecting them. So they're all put in, at these, the 4 or 5 days that all the orders are put in, right? So the way for us to prioritize those orders is by giving them a lower number priority. So what we did and what we decided to go with was any of our orders that were from October's orders from last year. I went through and I had record of those. So all the October orders, we gave them a priority 10. All the orders that we had from 22 model year that were ordered in November, we gave them an 11. December, we gave a 12. In January, we gave a 13. They closed ordering after January. And then we gave all of our new orders a 15. And so we might leave some of the 14s in there to maybe move some orders down, but for the most part, that's the way where our system is. So as those 10s go away, we'll start moving the other orders. When all of our 10, 11, 12s are gone and they've been scheduled, we'll bring those 15s down. But really, again, it doesn't matter if there's no other orders below them from the dealership. It all really matters within the dealership. Now, if you do see a priority code 20 to 80, let's say you look at your order sheet and you see that it says 20. Well, 20 is reserved for stock orders. That's where you definitely want to talk to your dealer, because they put your order in incorrectly. So you'd want to let them know, hey, I think you put mine in as a stock order, and that stock orders aren't going to get selected before retails, because again, it goes by priority code, and that's why stock orders start at 20 and go up to 80. And so you would want to make sure that they switch yours over to a retail order so it can be thrown below 20. So just keep that in mind. We saw that happen a little bit last year as well. So other than that, I think I've covered everything there. So give me your questions there. If you have anything else maybe I missed that I want to cover. Again, of course, I feel like we're kind of starting over with a new set of people this year that are putting in orders that maybe have been watching the live stream, and they're excited. They want to know what's the next steps and such. Hopefully that helps you out and gives you some idea of what to be looking at right there for your orders. So, all right. So Scott B said, is the Maverick order process different for those of us with the special offer certificates for 22 model year orders? My original order from my local dealer, 23 model year order, is from McArthur. So if you had an order with another dealer, where's my mouse? If you had an order with another dealer and you wanted to put an order in with us for 23 model year, that private offer goes with you, but we decided to put all those orders in as a priority 15. When I talked about it a couple weeks ago, I said I was thinking about it and I need to get with my general manager. Hopefully you did understand that, because as we started talking, we just said, well, is it fair for the people that put in a pre-order with us 2 months? In fact, I had a pre-order back in February. As soon as the order banks closed in January, I had people saying, okay, I want to order with you as soon as they open up. Was that fair to that person that he gets, pushed back over somebody that already has an order with a dealer? Because there is a benefit to you. You do have a way to be able to put your order in with that local dealer and be prioritized. If you wanted to put that 23 order with us, we put you in at a 15 for all those people. So we just felt that was fair, especially for those that had a pre-order in. I had several people that emailed and said, it doesn't seem fair that, I put my pre-order with you 2 months ago, and now somebody that didn't get scheduled, that's just communicating with you like a week before the order bank's open, it wouldn't really be fair for them to be moved ahead of us. So we kind of felt like that's true. So that's what we decided to do. So hopefully everybody understands that. So I have a new order in with Chris at McArthur. Thank you very much. All right. How many allocations did you get? Rather not. Actually, they gave us a number, but down there it did say that it's proprietary information. We're not supposed to disclose that information to out, so I'm not going to mention it. Plus, I think we're going to get more than what it says. So I think it says even in there that this is just information. It's lower than what we have orders for. Let me just say that, quite a bit lower. But I believe there's going to be some shifting in that, because there is about 15 or 20% of their allocations that have not been given out. So there's still a lot of allocations to be earned there. And I think there's going to be some things to go into play into how you earn those. And I think sales will come into that. And I think it's also revolving. So to be able to dictate and say, based on your sales, right, which should be in the last year, that they're going to base that number. And they did change how they're dictating that. Supposedly they're saying that it's going to be based on your Bronco Sport sales, your Ranger sales, and your Escape sales, and then 30% of that number comes from your Maverick sales, which last year they said it would be based on your entire model line. So actually I have the general managers at a conference or a meeting right now, or today he was, for the Midwest Conference to kind of talk about this, or Midwest region, I should say, to talk about this, because that's not what Ford said that they were going to do. So they've changed, they've shifted without letting dealers know this ahead of time. So we'll just see how it all plays out. I think they're going to have to see that system's not going to work. But I also see that, you can't tell me what my allocation is going to be for an entire year if you're going to base those percentages on a monthly basis, right? So like right now, we're going to receive, we received 12 Mavericks in 7 days. So we are going to receive a lot more, about 50 in the next month. So that could change that number for the next month, right? So I do know that we're going to get 63 at the startup to help take care of our 22 orders. So we will get 63 for next month, it looks like, and it looks like it'll end up being next month. So our build out, our startup allocation is 63, which is a great number to be looking at. I will tell you that, and then I'll keep telling you, keep you guys updated each month on what we receive for allocations. So Let's see. Vols said a gentle reminder to preface questions with McArthur. Oh, thank you very much. And Vols, congratulations. Yours is here. I saw it, so it looks cool. Yeah, I know you're doing a few aftermarket ads to it, and one of the ones I did see today looks really good. Looks pretty cool. So I did get the rocker panels on there. Looks pretty cool. I think that was yours. So yeah, looking forward to having you come. I think next Monday you'll be here to take delivery of that. So can't wait to meet you in person. All right, Vicky. Yeah, Vicky, yours is the order I was talking about earlier. I think yours might be waiting at the plant because of I think yours may have that airbag recall because it looks like it was built that week where that recall was in effect. So I got a feeling yours is held up there because of the recall, not because of a chip shortage. So I did mention it earlier in the live stream. So yours is one of the two that I was talking about from July. So still sitting with that. All right. And of course, we'll look up yours again for our special video that we do, right? So, all right. Pink Snowbirdie. Cool name. So I put an order in with you guys on the 19th, and my blue sheet, I think it's called, I got a date sign, said it was a 10, but I'm a new order. So yes, we actually did see that happening. So I actually went through all of the orders recently. So what happened is some of our new orders got put in as 10s accidentally. So again, we had a lot of people putting in orders, and we had a couple new people putting in orders. And so again, we're conditioned. We've been putting in hundreds of orders over the years, and sales managers' instinct is as soon as we put an order in, it automatically, we put retail, automatically defaults it to 19, and we automatically, instinctively, we always change it to 10. So a couple orders got switched to 10, but those all got fixed Sunday night by myself for a couple hours. So we fixed all those this weekend. So yours will probably no longer be a 10. It'll probably be a 15. So I did check on some of those, and we did kind of tweak those and fix those. So if any of yours priority changed, I know somebody contacted me and said mine changed. That's why. So I just want to let you guys know that. So all right. Is there any increase in costs with the Atlas blue color for the XL? No. Atlas blue is a metallic. It is not a usually the ones that cost extra are a tri-coat or a clear coat color. Those usually cost extra. All right, Lighthouse Media says, I'm seeing an F-150 on F-150s that the window sticker is rebating $200 for navigation removal. Does that mean that the 23 truck will not come with the Sync 4 navigation? Correct. Correct. That is correct. I mentioned that. I know you probably weren't watching the live streams then, but yeah, I've been mentioning on my live streams for a while. When there was any kind of constraints, that was one of them that was being removed from orders, along with auto start stop and the Wi-Fi hotspots on a lot of vehicles. So Scott says, I wasn't thinking about the priority. I was wondering if the certificate number needed to be in the order paperwork. Oh, okay, the certificate number, not necessarily the certificate number. As long as we know you have a certificate for that private offer, of course, that will come off at when you go to pick up your vehicle. A lot of times we try to put that into the blue sheet, what we call blue sheet, our buyer's order. We try to put that in there so you have a good idea what that cost is going to be, and we make sure we have that in there so we know that that was in there on yours, and so we can make sure that's in there. So you might get with your salesperson to make sure that that's in there, but certificate number we don't necessarily know. It actually is going to be the same certificate number for everybody's. So just make sure that your name. On a lot of them, what we did is we did a certificate inquiry to see if you had the certificate. And if we did see you had it, we went ahead and printed it off, and we put it in your deal jacket so that the salesperson has that in there. And then we went ahead and put it on that blue sheet. So hopefully that was put in on yours. I will tell you just a little known fact here that there were some. The brand manager did say we had one customer that we had that. His wasn't showing, and he did have an unscheduled 22 order, and his was not showing the private offer. And I get with the brand manager on that, and he said, yeah, we have several that for some reason the name isn't populating with the order, and so they're working on fixing some of those. So if you're one of those people that are like that maybe you have an unscheduled 22 order that was that had a COVP approval, and you don't see a certificate, it could be that reason. So you just need to maybe give it some time there. So Barry, a 3-month member here, says, can you get my truck rust proofed? You can get a undercoating is what they call that. Basically, they take it and they put a spraying material on the bottom of it, and put that on there, as well as you can get a clear coat on it as well to protect the lower rocker on the outside of it too. So a couple different ways to help with that. All right, so moving on down, Forever Metal says, I still don't have a private offer. Called Ford and my 22 order is still unscheduled clean. Is there anything I can do or just sit and wait? It's kind of set and wait, but you might double check. I don't know if that is with us, but I think we clarified most of them. But if it's with your dealer, you might make sure that yours was an approved COVP order. So having a 22 unscheduled order is one requirement. The other, that it has a COVP approval. And again, that third situation could be that it's just not populated right, and it could be just an issue at this point. So anyway. Willie says, tried to get to priority 10 on a Bronco order, but dealer insists that on Bronco orders it's based on timestamp, so they just leave it at priority 19. Now, Willie, it just depends on how they do all the other orders. Like I mentioned earlier, as long as they put all of their orders as 19, then it's going to go, the next thing it's going to go by is the timestamp of that order. So that's what they're going to be looking at next. So Al says, will you be treating the allocation numbers as proprietary this year, or is it just that initial number you can't share? Just an initial number. I'll share with you guys each month how many allocations we have, like I have been. So yeah, I will do that on a monthly basis. But yeah, I just kind of when we were given that information, there's some people I talked to that I just said, you know what, out of respect, I won't say anything, but it's lower than what it needs to be. I noticed every dealer is lower. So I think there's more allocations to be earned there that they're just not letting us know about. So that's just my take on that, because it doesn't really make sense. So just got an email that my build date got pushed back to October 10th week instead of this week. Bummer. Yeah. So we have seen that. Actually seen, I saw somebody that moved back, from September to October. So yeah. All right, I think did I miss some questions? This thing's scrolling on me here. Think about adding assist to my Copilot 360 package. Do you think it's worth it? So the assist gives you the adaptive cruise control, your reverse sensors, evasive steering assist, and your lane centering system. So last year that was included in the luxury package. This year you have to get that Copilot 360 assist package to get those features. Three features, actually more than three really. But to get all those features, you have to have the Copilot 360 assist package. So keep that in mind. Also, don't forget that in those luxury packages, they removed the remote start, the spray and liner, and your bed rails. So if you want those three, they're still standalone options, but you can get them. But you need to make sure you add them, because they will not come with your order. So just keep that in mind. That price and incentives are protected for 22 orders. Thanks for all you do for the work. That's what make it work. No problem. All right. Okay, there's what that one is. Try not to miss any questions here. Try to do the best I can. All right, John says, Tim, had my dealer look up my 22 Maverick order in Smart Vincent, and he found my name and the 2750 amount. Am I to receive some type of certificate email from Ford? No, you won't get an email from Ford typically. It's just your name is going to be put in there, so that when they go to pull the Smart Vincent, they're going to see that you can receive a private offer. So you want to make sure when you go to take delivery, that they make sure they search for that certificate again when you take delivery. Scott says, signed up as a member after my orders were placed. Should I send questions to you or to my original sales? Either one will work. Sarah and I have been helping with most of those members, so you can send to both. Looking up orders and such, probably easier just to ask me. But either one will work for you. But yeah, just contact me if you want. So just got email. My Maverick was moved 2.5 weeks. Now October 17th. That stinks. Hopefully it doesn't move anymore, right? It needs to stick, right? All right. Will Ford build out all the Bronco reservation order holders, or are they going to leave reservation holders twisted in the wind due to the allocation? On the Bronco reservation order holders. So if you have a reservation you haven't converted to an order, you're going to be able to do that starting tomorrow. So that's the day that that can happen. For those that have an order, though, then no. So yeah. So anyway, yeah, you're going to be put in with everybody else. So what they're doing there is people that had a 22 order that was placed, and so they already had one, whereas reservation holders were holding out, right? Their date is going to show a little bit different timestamp to the reservation holders. So now reservation holders can be converted over to orders on the 28th. So they will actually be listed and timestamped behind the rollover 22 orders, which makes sense to me, because if you had a reservation and you've been putting it off, and other people have already had their order in, it does make sense that you would go behind them. So my door does not show an extra charge for Cyber Orange this year. Is that correct? Cyber Orange is still a cost color. Anytime there's a tri-coat or a clear coat, it's going to be an extra cost color. It would be weird that it doesn't. Might double check that. That seems weird. All right. Jim says, is there a charge for Alto Blue paint on the Maverick? 22 was $390. 23 shows 0. Again, that should be a cost color. That's a great question. This is where the price list comes in handy right here. All right. Maverick. Give me a second. I got them all stacked back here with me here. So let's look. All right. So hot pepper red, it's showing is $495. That is a clear coat, a tinted clear coat. Let's see what else. The other colors aren't listed. Okay, I don't see the other colors listed, just hot pepper red, which is unusual. I'll have to look into that. That is a great question. It's not showing that it's any other color options except for the hot pepper red. Let's look at another place that you would see that is in the order guide itself as options, because then it would show as an option anytime it's an extra cost color. Let's go to XLT trim. Freestanding options usually will show your colors. Alto Blue, Cyber Orange, Hot Pepper Red are the 3 premium exterior paints they're showing. It should cost. I'll have to look into that. So, not that I want to charge you more money, but might look at that. But they should cost extra on those. All right, Aggie Panther Dad. Know you guys are working hard on entering the COVP for the Maverick orders, and I definitely appreciate it. Are the COVPs going to all those who placed an order out at the same time? Well, they're going by when salespeople get the information. Like, I'm still waiting on one to be returned to me. So as soon as I get, I sent out what I did on all mine. I sent all of them out at one time, and then I received them back incremental times, and I just gave them to her whatever order. When the COVP gets submitted, it has no bearing on your order, so it doesn't really matter. So your order is time stamped, and the priority code and the timestamp are the 2 things that matter, along with any constraint items you have on your order. Those are the things that affect when you get scheduled, not what date your COVP was entered and what date your COVP was approved. That has no bearing. It's all based on that order date and that receipt date, not on your COVP date. So you don't need to worry about that. All right, is there a way to verify my dealer entered my order into COVP and it was approved? They are not willing to share a confirmation email from headquarters. It's hard when the dealer's not willing to do that, but the only way is to get that information from the dealer. So even when you call Ford customer support, they can't even see whether or not you had an approved COVP order. The only person that really knows is Ford. Or I mean the dealer, I should say. Ford does too, but customer support doesn't though. So you really need to work with your dealer on that to get that. But a lot of them are probably saying, well, according to Ford, we don't need we don't have to do it. So, and they're right. I mean, according to the brand manager, they said that it wasn't going to be required this year, but for the Mavericks. But we'll just see. My Maverick was built today. How long until it gets to the dealer? So you want to look for when it gets released from the factory. As soon as it gets on a rail, 4 weeks. So I would wait until you see that it's been released, not necessarily been produced. So wait for that, see that. Once the dealer can tell you when it's been released from the factory, then start counting. It's about 4 weeks, if there's no delays. All right, I placed an order with McArthur for Maverick Tremor package on 9/19. Only received generic email from Ford confirming my order. How long before the order gets COVP approved? Well, it could take a while. Some of these are, I know at one point, let's see, she had put in 300 of them, and she'd received 1 approval back. So not that the others didn't get approved, it just that's how long it's taking on some of these. So just have to bear with them. When you sell out a model in 1 week, it's going to take a while for all the COVPs to trickle down and be approved, because they are manually approved by Ford from somebody at Ford. So just keep that in mind. It's going to take a little while. All right. How long should I wait before I contact my dealer about my COVP on my Maverick order? I mean, I'd wait a couple weeks. I mean, it'd be more important that the COVP was submitted than the approval, because the approval will come as long as that COVP is submitted before October 5th. Then you're good, because if something comes back and you got a blurry driver's license or a blurry copy or something like that, then that can be, sent back for another approval. Once it's submitted, then you're in. And so then if you have like a pending where they say, nope, it's on hold because of this, it's on hold because of this, well, you can still make update that and go, okay, how about this will look better, and then they can get the approval. But you can't submit after the deadline. So that's the most important, is getting it submitted. All right, I had the Wi-Fi delete automatically applied to my 22 order. Does this affect the Ford Pass app remote start feature? No, it does not. So it does not affect any of the Ford Pass app features, just affects whether or not your vehicle can be a Wi-Fi hotspot for people to connect to internet to. Which, by the way, that costs extra after 3 months, just so you know that. So that is, the Wi-Fi hotspot wasn't a free feature anyway. All right. Ordered EcoBoost bare bones at priority 15 with local dealer. I'm sure they have many 22 hybrid orders. If Ford doesn't have the parts for hybrid build, can I still get scheduled at 15? I'm assuming you have what you said, you ordered an EcoBoost. Well, so here's the benefit of having an EcoBoost order with this. So for you, you're a priority 15 EcoBoost order. Well, if they can build 65% EcoBoost, and let's say most of your priority 10s and your 22 rollover orders are hybrids, right? Then that's going to help your EcoBoost actually get moved up, in a sense. So let's say for that dealer, let's say that dealer can do 6 out of 10 of theirs that get scheduled are going to be EcoBoost. And let's say 4, just to use numbers, can be hybrid. Let's say they get 10 allocations, right? And the 6 EcoBoost. Let's say they only have hybrid orders left over. They're going to be looking at that EcoBoost order next at that point. So having an EcoBoost is actually a benefit for you. So if you have that EcoBoost order in, that's good news for most EcoBoost order holders there. Sarah says, you said some Maverick 22 my scheduled orders might be canceled due to chip shortage. No. Does that mean even though we have a scheduled build week, they might cancel our order completely? No. You misunderstood what I was talking about earlier. I mentioned on one product line, not all of them. Let's see, where was that? It was on Mustang. Okay, so this is on the build out of Mustang. So what would happen is that Mustang order would roll over to 23. It wouldn't be canceled completely. So it would be carried over to 23 for the Mustang. So several chip related constraints might require spec changes and or cancellations of scheduled orders. So if there's something that is on their order that can't be built because of chip shortages, then the order might be canceled, but you can just do a spec change instead. So, and that was just on the Mustang where I was talking about. So those are, when I talk about specific notes, it's just for that model. So that was, when I was talking about that, I was talking about the 22 Mustang. So hopefully that helps out and answers that question. All right, let's see. I ordered an XL 23 hybrid. I wanted a sunroof. I was informed it has to be an XLT to get a sunroof. Is this true? XL this year, I probably didn't see my video. I did a video that went through the changes for 22, and one of the changes to the 22 order guide is that you cannot get a moonroof on the XL. You could last year, but not this year. I actually thought it was last year when I did my video. If you saw that, I was like, wow, you can get a moonroof on an XL. That's incredible. I can't believe that, because you don't normally see that type of that feature on an XL. So I'm not really surprised that happened, but yes, they took the moonroof off as an option on the XL for 2023 model year. So you have to go to XLT to get a moonroof. Yes. I'm talking about active 23 orders that converted. Is Ford really committed to building those Bronco orders in 23, or will allocation trump 22 orders with legacy reservations? Oh, I think I know what you're saying. So if a dealer doesn't have enough allocation to fulfill those 2022 rollover orders, will they be rolled over more? Well, allocations will trump that, because it's going to be based on dealers' allocations. So I know there's some dealers out there that have a lot of Bronco orders, and they may not get fulfilled in 23. I know that Ford's going to do the best they can to build them. I think what Ford needs to do is go ahead and get the allocations to the dealers based on the orders at the dealers. So, like for us, I think we have 60 carryovers, maybe that many. I don't remember how many Bronco carryovers we have, but we don't have that many, so, give the allocations, like if we have, if we have 60, and you give us a certain amount, we've been getting about 8 a month, that it would take us 8 months to get those scheduled out. But if some dealer has more, give them more allocations and take allocations from dealers that don't have any. So just like with the Maverick, I think that's going to be something, they actually said that we're going to give allocations based on this formula. And one of that formula was, based on their Escape sales and their Bronco Sport sales and their Ranger sales. Well, that means that there are going to be dealers that are going to earn allocations based on some models that we're not even talking about the Maverick. So because they have a lot of they sold a lot of Escapes and they sold a lot of Rangers, they're going to get allocations, but they may not have orders. So then that means they're going to get allocations, and they're basically going to take allocations from people that actually have the orders to fulfill, to give to them. And then what's going to happen? So if they have no orders, but yet they gain allocations because of their a different model completely, they're going to get allocations. So what's going to happen? Does that mean that we're going to see stock orders being put in by dealers because they don't have the orders, but they get the allocations? So let's put some stock orders in, and then we're going to see all these stock Mavericks available out there. And what are the people going to do? They're going to price them 5 or 10,000. I mean, a lot of times we do on anyone that's not taken for a customer. A customer decides not to take theirs, right? So a stock one does become to be a little bit over MSRP. My fear is that's what's going to happen. What they need to do instead is if somebody doesn't have a retail order, but they earn allocations, they need to take those. They need to give them to the dealers within their region that do have the orders, give the allocations to them. So give the allocations to where the orders are. Basically, I don't know. To me, it's just a no-brainer. How difficult can this be? I mean, that's the way it should be. Broncos should be done the same way, in my opinion, too. All right. I forgot to put a little... That's my soapbox. I forgot to put that up. There's my soapbox. Talking about allocations and where they're going. I think, allocations system works great for models that do not sell out. If you get one that sells out by retail orders, they need to shift how those out. They have to change the allocations. Then give them like they did on the Maverick last year, where they give them based on who has the orders. Right? If you took the maximum amount of orders and say, okay, we took all the orders, we can build all the orders that are in there, then why don't you just give the allocations based that way, right? Why do we need to make this complicated and give allocations to dealers that don't have orders, right? Stop. All right. Bears fan says, no 23 Maverick scheduling on September 29th. Nope. Is 40% base Copilot 360 enough of a constraint to drop? I would say not. I mean, if you have anything over about 30%, you're probably good. Now, the more of those you have, the harder it is on your order. So if you have like the luxury and the Copilot 360, and let's say you add the ceramic bed liner, all those are maybe what, 25-30% numbers. But the more of those you have on there, the harder it's going to be to get yours built, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like, you know, just add more things to it. So the less of them that you have, you know, if all you have is a Copilot 360, I'd leave it on there. That's just my gut on it. But if you have that and a spray and bend liner, you know, and splash guards, you might have an issue there. So I would, you know, again, leave off those bed accessories and go with that Copilot. So I think the packages, and do remember this too, for those of you that are thinking about those items that they removed from the luxury packages, there is a reason why they removed those items. So I would try to stay away from adding those back on. So stay away from the bed and the spray and bed liners. Stay from those bed rails. Those can be added aftermarket. And the truck's already pre-drilled for the holes for those. So you can put those, install those yourself. So don't do the bed rails, in my opinion. I wouldn't do the spray and liner. And if you want the remote start, I get it. But you can remote start it with your app. So I don't know, something to think about. So that's the way I looked at it, is there's a reason why they took those out of those packages. All right, any idea when Ford may begin production for 23? Nope. I haven't been told, but then again, since they've done the shift and change of positions, we've gotten a lot less communication. Just saying that. All right, I'm way behind here. All right, I think I'm a little behind because my screen wasn't refreshing. I thought I was caught up. There we go. We're to Yosef. All right. All right. My dealer said that for priority code, Ford is making sure the 22 carryovers will get a priority 2, even if they have done others as priority code 10 that are not carryovers. That is not true. So Ford is not going to automatically know. Ford has no idea, actually. They're not tracking. When a 23 order is put in, they have no idea which of those orders are carryover 22s. They're all put in the same way. It's a new 23 order. The dealer has to prioritize the order. Ford is not going to automatically take these orders and go, oh, all these are 22 orders. Let's take those to priority 2s. That's not going to happen, folks. So the dealer needs to make sure they prioritize the orders like we did. So we made sure that our 22 orders are the 10, 11, 12, 13s. New orders are 15. So hopefully your dealer is doing the same thing. But evidently they're not understanding the whole, you know, it's kind of a new system. Every other model, every other year, if you didn't get scheduled, your order got duplicated as a new model year order. Just like we're doing with the Bronco. The Bronco orders, the 22 unscheduled are in there. You can see the 22 order, and then they duplicated it as a 23 order. So it was carried over right into the system. They did not do that with the Maverick. Totally different ball game and totally different situation and system that they've done on any other model. So, all right, Jan says, just got notified my 22 will be built after all of the week, November 14th. Thought 23s were starting first week of November. Do they stop building when do they stop building 22s? I think it's the week, the 7th. My little Bronco calendar here. So the week of the 7th, so they'll go into, so maybe the 14th, so you might have like the last one built. So I think they're supposed to go, that week is when they're supposed to start the build. I don't know when that week. So they might build a couple 22s at the beginning of the week and then switch over and start building 23s at the end of that week. So, but if you have a VIN, you're going to be built as a 22. Even if they have to move production back a week, they'll do that to make sure those are getting built. Blanca, welcome. How are you doing? Tim, thank you, Sarah and La McArthur crew, for all you do. Thank you very much. That donation. You do not have to donate. You're a member. You're already donating by being a member, so I appreciate it, though. And it was really nice seeing you at the dealership the other day as well. So hope you guys are doing great. All right. Where was I? Okay. Oh. Okay, here it is. Syntax error said, is it true that if contacting Ford customer service, if they check your order and it shows as unscheduled clean, means COVP has been accepted? No. Once an order's been submitted, they'll all say unscheduled clean. That has nothing to do with the COVP. That is not true. There is really only way that you can check COVP, and that is going through the dealer and seeing if they'll let you know that information. Can you please show us the screen where the dealer needs to go to check the COV status? I have instructions. Should we talk about that? All right, let me look here. Let me see if I can pull that in. Give me a second. I know I've used that in the past. So let me see if I can just add this to my streaming platform. I'll just do image. All right. I do have some stuff that I keep because when people email me, I usually email them the information. So that's my helpful little things. So where's that? Priority 2, nope. ROVP approval needed, nope. ROP approval. I think this is it. That's kind of big. Let's shrink it down a little bit. There we go. All right. So putting this over there. So yes, here's where they would actually, this is not accurate to this year. So I might have to amend this. So actually this is not going to help us here because this is from last year of where they went to get that. This year it is done through the COVP site. And it is not easy to get to. It's easier to pull a report. So that's the way you did it last year. This year it is done through the same COVP website instead of the Maverick had its special one this year or last year. This year it is done differently, and I don't think I can get to that quickly. Okay. So yeah, I can do it. Here, let me show you this. Do I still have this activated? All right, so it's through this website, cni.dealerconnection.com for dealers. The dealer has to go there, and of course, you go into there, and you're going to see a screen kind of like this. Hopefully, Ford doesn't get mad at me. So down here, COVP, that's sales match. So customer order verification program. So they click into there, and that's how you get to it. Now, this is where you submit them. I think you go into view enrollment. So if that shows you that, then at that point you can then pull that. The reason I want to put that in there is it does have somebody's information that I don't need you contacting them. That's the person that works. It's been working 14-hour days to submit our CVP, and you don't need to bother her. So please don't do that. So anyway, so yeah, so don't. That's where you go. So COVP, the Customer Order Verification Program. Click on view enrollments, and then what's difficult about that is you can't search a customer. You actually can, but you can export that out, and then you do a nice little Google, Control F or find, and then you can find the customer and then show them their COVP status update at that point there. So should have done a pre-setting of that, so I saw that beforehand, but oh well. So you guys are nice. You won't do that to her. So all right, moving on down. Orlando said, I converted my reservation to an order today, got a confirmation email from Ford, but they couldn't understand why I wanted a copy of the DORA. So the benefit of a DORA is the order sheet, I can show you a preview of an order, but doesn't mean that I made the changes. So once you make any changes to an order, you do a preview sheet, and what you guys receive is that order sheet is a preview sheet. At that point, I could print that preview sheet and not hit submit, and those changes won't be submitted. But if I do hit submit and those changes are submitted, the next day I get a DORA sheet from Ford showing the changes made to that order, or the order was submitted itself. So now, if you want to know, hey, I want to make sure my order was submitted, if you receive the email from Ford, your order was submitted. You do not get that email unless the order was clicked and submitted. So you do have an order. The DORA sheets do come in handy, but dealers may not want to send you a copy of the DORA sheet because it has the invoice price on everything. and they may not want you to know that. So, I mean, for my customers, I'll send the door sheet, and I'm going to let you know, okay, you are able to see how much money I'm making on this, but I'm still going to sell it to you at MSRP. So hopefully that makes sense to most of those people. But that's the door sheets. The benefit of the door sheet is to know that the change was actually made. So that's why I've been sending door sheets out to some of the people that are asking for it for our orders. Now you want to, if you do have, and you've been working with one of our salespeople, please go to them. 800 orders. I can't handle that many emails every day. So please, if you have questions, try to go through your salesperson first. If you go through me, I can probably get you the answer, but it will not be as speedy as hopefully it'll work with one of our salespeople. So, all right. Moving on down, Daniel said, any thoughts on when the 23 Maverick meet will be? Working on travels for next year. I don't know. Maybe around the same timeline. I don't know. I know we want it to be cool out, but we don't want to interfere with fall school and that kind of thing, which I think this last year we kind of did a little bit. So don't know yet. But we usually plan those about, quite a bit in advance, usually at least 3 months in advance for most of those different events. But we have not planned that yet for next year. All right, my dealer, so next question, MFlies23 says, my dealer won't convert my Bronco order, saying Ford WebDo system won't until September 28th. Why would they be saying is when someone else is converting? Well, they're wrong. 21st is when you could start going in and updating those orders. 28th is for new reservation holders, so they're probably just mixed up on their dates. That's all. But the 28th is tomorrow, so you can go in tomorrow, right? So, all right. Ford, any guidance on cash down Ford financing may want when applying for 0% for 36 months financing? Any guidance on cash down Ford financing may want when applying? Depends on your credit. So some people may not have to put any money down. Some people may have to put some money down. Really depends on your credit score itself on whether or not you'll need to put money down. Are they automatically deleting connected navigation on retail orders or just stock orders? Connected nav. I assume you're talking about the Bronco, maybe, or the F-150. I think they're doing it on all, not just stock ones. At one time on the Bronco, they were only doing stock at first, hoping to help, but then they had to end up doing all of them. So, all right. If a 750 personal offer expired before 22 model year Maverick was built, can my dealer go back and still apply it to my order? No. They told me they can go back and still add the expired offer. Well, hopefully they can. I don't think they can. I kind of relate it to a newspaper ad that comes out on a Sunday, right? And says, or it comes out on a Saturday or something and says it expires on Sunday, right? You have to go in by Sunday to get it. If you go in Monday, it expired the day before, and then you're asking them to, still use the coupon. It's expired. So, but I don't know. I mean, usually, like a lot of the ones that went out within this last year was you have to order within this window, or take delivery within this window. One of those two. If it falls in between, then you're kind of out of luck. So, so if they can get it, then that's great, and maybe they can work with their zone rep. Well, they're not zone reps anyway. Work with the whatever rep is and helps with that, and maybe they can get that to get approved. So, all right. What is deal date on the blue order form? Mine was 10/30/2022. The deal date. Okay, so that is the date that basically that date will get refreshed when you purchase the vehicle. So that is a buyer's order. And so a lot of them, what we do is we date those out. So if we, like I said, we took 800 orders in 1 week. So if we had all those dated, the actual date, today's date, you're not going to be buying the vehicle today. So we have to just kind of guesstimate. So some managers put that date out into like February of 2023. Some managers put it at the end of the month. So typically we will date all of our deals that we're working with a customer. We'll date them to the end of the month so that way they're not flooded into the actual sold vehicles, and those deal dates dated today. So as a dealership, we look and we know anything dated today means it was delivered today. It went into finance. It's a done deal, delivered today. So if we have an order that where, let's say we were just working numbers, I know you guys have had this where you've gone to a dealership, you negotiated, you left, you didn't buy, right? If we leave that at that date, then it'll look like we sold a vehicle on that date, but then it won't make sense to accounting upstairs. So we always date it out. Any ordered vehicles, we date out, a couple months, because we know it could be, at least 2 months before it comes in. And then we'll go in at the end of, towards the end of the month, we'll move those from that 30th. Okay, these aren't going to go out before the end of the month. We'll move them to the very end date of the next month. So hopefully that makes sense. So those blue sheets, those dates, you don't need to worry about that, because the whole purpose behind those buyer's orders is what Ford needs, and it just shows that we are going to give you that price and that dealer fee for you, and so what those costs are ahead of time, and that's the number we're gonna adhere to and stay to if there's any price protection or any price increase, I should say, throughout the year. Hopefully I made sense of that. All right. Will 2023, 2024 Ford Lightnings have the scale won't truck, because currently they have opted out of it? Yeah, right now it is not available, and that's probably why they're scheduling in chunks, or sending invites out in chunks instead of at the very beginning for the whole year, is that if that becomes an option that becomes in where they can get the constraints that they're having issues with, then they can start giving it to customers that can have it. So at this point, and it's being moved out. Okay. Steve said, how many 23 Maverick orders at McArthur? I have heard it is 795. That is correct. Percent of orders that are hybrids. That I have not looked at since we did that. So how many Maverick orders are XL, XLTs, lariats, and trimmers? I mean, I can go, well, I couldn't get WebDo to pull up, but I mean, just because that's what we're doing doesn't mean that's the scope of all other dealerships around. Hey, now it's working all around the country, right? So it can be different on all of them. I mean, I can look it up, but I think somebody's wanting to update some post on Maverick Truck Club on it. But again, don't forget, we're just one dealership in all of the orders. And I think I figured it up. Let's say Ford has 100,000 orders for Maverick. I don't know how many they have. They're not going to share that information. And if we had 800, that's less than 1%. So we're only, 1% of all the orders. So just because this is a percentage here doesn't mean that it's, that's going to be the percentage across the board around the country. So keep that in mind. So yeah, we have actually it says 795. We did cancel one order. So we're at 794. And so I can break out XLs. For those of you playing along, 132 that are XLs. XLTs is 449, the bulk of them, and lariat trim is 213. So there's that breakdown. Now if we look at engine breakdown, EcoBoost is 249 and hybrid is 545. So there you go. That's the breakdown for those of you wanting to know that information. Tremor, easiest way to do that, we have 41 tremors. So you know that. So there you go. If that helps you out. All right. And remember, that only dictates probably less than 1% of the entire country. So keep that in mind. All right. Just wondering if anyone who has ordered the Heritage Limited has gotten a scheduled date. I'm assuming you're talking about Bronco Sport. And no, we had 6 Heritage Limiteds on order, but I don't think that they've given out allocation numbers yet, so I don't think we're seeing any of those. Now, we did see some Heritage editions that got scheduled, but not Heritage Limited editions yet. So, all right. Derek says, do you think there will be a lot of 23 Maverick hybrid orders that don't get built, or will the quick order bank window help? Well, I think their goal was to set that off where they could build them. And that's usually their goal on that. And if they see that that's getting close and it's getting quick, then that's why they shut that off. Yeah, so that they can do that. So their goal this year was not to carry any orders over to 24. And so I think they cut it off early. I think at this point what we'll see, if anything, is if they can, hopefully they can build all that they have. And if anything, we're probably going to see some stock EcoBoost orders available towards the end of the year, if anything. But yeah, so I don't know the answer to that question, to be honest. Are dealers able to place 23 Maverick orders for stock units? Yes, we are. And I did. I did one just for fun. Not that we're going to get it, but I did an EcoBoost. I think we can actually place hybrid orders, but we probably will never see any. We have too many. You saw how many we had. We have too many hybrid orders. There's no way we're going to get any. But if we get any, it'll be EcoBoost orders. So I actually did put one stock EcoBoost order in there, but it won't. I mean, it would be clear at the end. Again, stock orders are put in as a priority 20, so they're going to be looked at last of any other orders. So the only way it'll be looked at for any other retail order is if, like, we ordered an EcoBoost quit and there's nothing added to it to would interfere, like a luxury package or anything else, and somebody other EcoBoost order that's left has like constraint items and they can't schedule it, then they would look at that stock order. But that would be the only way. So yep, I have a lot of questions here. So just like Rachel put in there, please put the @ McArthur in front of it, and that way I can scroll down through real quick and answer those questions. How exactly does the constraint list work? Like, are the percentages additive? So yeah, basically the way that works is, like right now, the percentages for constraint on the engines, 65% of the production is going to be built with EcoBoost, and 35% of the production will be hybrid. So that's how the kind of percentage works. So if all their orders, if let's say the XLT luxury package is 25%, of their orders, 25% of them, like 1/4 of them, can be built as an XLT luxury package. So if that kind of helps out a little bit. So 40% Copilot 360, which can be built on all three trims in both engines, is 40%. That's that's a 50-50 shot there, almost 40-60, but who's counting, right? All right, that just skipped on me. I knew that was going to happen. I scrolled down and it jumped up. All right, where was that? Johnny's still in here. Appreciate you, Johnny, sticking around this long. I know it's getting late where you're at. Okay, I missed a bunch of questions. All right, where was I? Okay, answered that. How many trimmers do you all put in? Thank you. Trimmers for Christmas. I like that hashtag. You need to put that on Twitter. Rachel, you got that? Hashtag trimmers for Christmas. All right. Would you please explain the Bronco ordering process, retail stock, priority codes, timestamps, order dates? That sounds like its own episode right there, but it works just like I was talking about earlier. So if you did check that out, when I was talking about the kind of the topic of the week, you have your order in now, what's next, that goes for every model. I did talk about a couple things that had to do with Maverick specific, but that went along with all of them. So again, going through that would be, I can go back and rewatch that part if you missed that part. But that's kind of where that's going to look at. So right now, the orders that are going to be in there are 22 carryover orders, no new 23 orders. So they're going to be looked at, and all their timestamps are going to be the same. And so they're not going to be looking at necessarily the order date. They're going to be looking at the timestamp of that carryover when that carryover order went in. So basically at this point, all unscheduled 22s will have the same timestamp. So they'll all be together. And then any reservation holder that converted it over to an order will be done on the 28th, which is tomorrow. They'll be dated tomorrow's date at the earliest, right? And so then they'll be looked at after them. And then, of course, priority code does have some bearing in that as well. So, like, all of ours will put in as priority 10s, right? So that they're looked at first. And we could even actually go into that if we know we have somebody that, man, this was a 21 order, then we can look at those and put those in as 10s, and all the ones that maybe were a 22 order to begin with, move them back to, just like we did on the Maverick, move them back to a 12 or something to give those others a chance to look at first, since they're all dated the same. So that's probably something we'll look at doing In fact, I'm going to make a note on that. So, you know, Bronco, we're going to do probably try to do the same thing if we can, because we can actually see, you know, what our 21 ones were and where they're at, and then try to do the same thing. So, so that we can make sure those orders get looked at first. So, I got the initial Ford email of my order submitted. You mentioned Ford has to approve our COVP. Will we be emailed? Ford said, no, you will not. The dealer will get an email confirming that, so the person will receive that. So, or does it only go to you, the dealer, just to us? Yes, correct. All right, just got in here. I'm sorry if you're already answered it. Do I need to contact the dealer for COVP confirmation? The Ford email confirmation does not equal COVP. Correct, it is not. So the only way to get that is from the dealer. So, and so you just ask that you could ask the dealer if you got a COVP approval. And again, Ford's to kind of reiterate what Ford said is that COVP will not dictate whether or not your order gets scheduled. So I have a theory on the importance of COVP on Maverick orders, and I don't think it has a bearing on when your order gets selected for scheduling. Ford said, we recommend dealers do that, but that would not be a criteria on an order getting scheduled. So like last year, it was a huge big deal because if you didn't get a COVP approval, your order was not looked at for scheduling. This year, that is not the case. Your order is still going to be looked at for scheduling. So again, I have a theory. I've told my members what I think my theory is on that, but you know, that's I think that, well, I'll tell you, I guess, that I think that COVP approval is going to impact your allocations of orders. So I think the more a dealer gets COVP approved, I think will reflect into getting more allocations. But again, that's just one nut job here at McArthur thinking they know what's going on, and I probably don't, because every time I think I got Ford figured out, I end up being wrong. So got a build week of November 7th. Maverick order. When will I be able to see my window sticker? Sometime around that time. Usually about a week before, once it's selected for scheduling, is about when you'll be able to see that. Smart Car said, have you heard anything new with dealers or Ford sending rebate checks to customers who were charged new MSRP on 22 Mavs instead of the original order price? Thanks for everything. Well, then dealers should have price protected you to the original price, and then they would get reimbursed from Ford, because that's the deal, is Ford will reimburse them on the dealer payment statement, and it will not go to the dealer, so no, go to the customer. So what they were doing is saying, okay, we're going to do the new MSRP, and if we get the money back from Ford, we'll send it on to you. Well, the thing of it is, it takes 45 to 60 days later. So what are they thinking? They're hoping you forget that money, right? So then they can just pocket it. So there should be doing is they should be honoring that price then, and then Ford will reimburse them into accounting. So the way we did it is we put a line item on each one of the car deals, so they knew when we got the money where that would go into and to reimburse for that amount. So that's the way it should work. So, hi Tim, I ordered a 23 Lariat trimmer with just the trimmer off-road package, and that's it. No bed liner or anything. How long do you think it'll be to take? Well, I can guess if you're a guessing man, but I have no idea. We don't know. We don't know if the trimmers are going to be being produced right off the bat or if it's going to be later. It would be a huge guess for me to put out some date. So let's say the first week they make a trimmer, and that's the week of the 14th, or maybe it's the 21st. We don't know yet, because we know now there's a 22 order being built that week. So let's say it's the 21st. Well, let's say it's built that day and it gets shipped out that day. Then it could be late December when it shows up. But I would say the first one's probably we won't see till January, would be a good, I would guess. At least till January. So it will truly be a 2023. My dealer says there is no benefit to doing COVP in California because we have laws protecting the price on the order form. Says correct. Well, I think they don't understand what COVP means. COVP has nothing to do with price protection. Nothing. So I think they misunderstood what that really means. So that is not true. And it meant a lot last year. and it still means a lot because they did like ease up a little bit on the percentage for dealers. I think what they did is they took care of, they figured out what dealers were in a sense cheating the system, and now they have those dealers on their radar. So now they've eased it back up for dealers that were doing things the right way. And so, you know, as dealerships, we'd like to see COVP go away. And they said this year COVP wasn't as important. It was more of getting it in there and getting dealers to name match than actual getting orders selected, because dealers going to earn allocations and they have to get their orders submitted through the allocations that they receive. Last year, CVP gave the dealers allocations based on the COVP approved orders. So they wanted to give dealers, reward dealers for getting orders in. And so that was their way of doing it, was by knowing which orders they COVP'd. This year, it's not being done that way. It's all being taken care of through the allocation system. So they're right in the sense that COVP is not as important, but it's still, Ford is still asking dealers to do that. So, but as a customers, I think, you know, worrying about COVP, I don't think you need to worry about it as much. So again, just like Ford says, your vehicle isn't going to get selected for scheduling because there isn't a COVP done. Ford, you know, they said that especially on the Maverick. They said that is not going to be a bearing on whether or not your order gets selected for scheduling, because we did see that as being an issue last year when dealers did not do the COVP approval and people waited a year, didn't get scheduled, and then didn't get a private offer. So I think they took note of that and said, you know, dealers are affecting customers on their orders, so we don't want that to happen. So as long as that order is submitted, it's going to be looked at for scheduling. So, and that's what, according to their note, that's what they're saying. So unless they change that, and if they do, I'll let you know. Come back and check us out every week. All right, Sean says, I got my 23 transfer. My guy said I was a priority 2. My old paperwork was a 10. And now the new one shows 19. Not sure how to take that. Okay, I kind of talked about priority numbers earlier and what they mean. So if you missed that part, you might go back to what we talked about during the topic, but on how priority codes are done. So last year, you received a priority 2 because the region looked at your order and gave allocations to the dealership based on your order. And so they wanted to look at your order first since you earned them the allocations. And so you were at a priority 2. So they want to look at your order first. And then the paperwork was showing as a 10, which means at some point when they went to print that sheet, they put it in as a 10 and they printed the sheet for you. So it's put in as a 10. Now your priority shows a 19, means they probably moved it back. Probably like us, where we did some mistakes on some things and we actually moved. We had some that were put in as 10 accidentally when they should have been a 15 in our system. They probably did the same thing. They probably realized, oh, wait, but actually yours was a last year order that should have been looked at as a 10 anyway. They should have been given a 10 from the dealer. So I'd ask them why, hey, mine was carryover from 22 to 23. Why do I have a priority 19? Would I not be prioritized over a new 23 order? And I would probably fight that and say, you know, I'm curious on that. My order is going to be looked at, you know, as one of the last ones instead of one of the first ones when I had an order that was transferred over to 23. So I definitely talk to your dealer about getting that changed. Just skipped on me again. All right, I'm gonna have to skip some questions because it rolled down on me. Is there a way to confirm COVP on the customer side? No. All right, Tim, I signed and sent back a preview order to Marcus. Is this the same as a blue sheet and good for getting the COVP? Yes, we need actually both. We do both. I don't know what other dealers do, but the person that puts ours in, we do a buyer's order. We also do the preview sheet that needs to be signed and filled out, and copy of driver's license. Those are the 3 things that we need. So, and I know those guys are working really hard and trying to do that because, again, they're taking orders now. These orders don't result in sales yet. They will down the road. But they still have to make money for this month to pay their family and pay their bills. And so they're trying to do both. They're trying to do orders, submit COVP, and sell cars and up customers on the lot and sell current customers as well along with this. Because these guys spent 4 or 5 days straight just taking orders and not being able to help customers with new sales. And so for a lot of these guys, our sales, you know, suffered a little bit, especially even on the used car side, because we were taking all these orders, but not able to, you know, go and help other customers or try to help sell cars because these orders will be a down the road sale and they're very important to us. So we didn't, you know, slough that off. I mean, we took a lot of orders in a few days. I think we did an excellent job. But because of that, some right now, guys got those orders in. The important thing was getting them submitted. At this point, they're trying to do, I think guys are trying to do a few orders each day in the COVP and get those in so they can still kind of sell cars. Again, COVP and when that's submitted and when it gets approved isn't important. It's when the order gets submitted, which is what's important. So some of our guys haven't completed them, but they do have a deadline of this Friday. So if you don't see something by Friday, then you make sure you contact them and take care of it, and then and let us know. If not, contact me and I'll forward it on to our sales manager. So all right. Melissa says, if my priorities number is 19 for the Bronco Sport Heritage Limited, would it make a difference to call my dealer? Not as long as everybody else is the same number. Again, priority really goes into effect for within the dealership, not nationwide. So if you see somebody at one dealer says, well, I have a 22 carryover order that's a 10, but this dealer says I have a carryover order that's a 12, it only matters within the dealership's allocation system. So if they have all their orders put in as 19 for the Bronco Sport, you know, a lot of dealers, that's the way it is, because like I said, the default is 19 when you put in an order. So a lot of dealers didn't change that and don't change that, you know, unless you ask. So you can, you know, it doesn't really, on the limiteds, especially the Heritage Limited, the dealer's only going to get so many allocations of that for the entire year. So it won't really matter where you're at priority number. More importantly is when you put your order in than anything. So especially on those limited editions, they're only going to get a few allocations. All right, Ray said, Tim, would it enhance my changes to get my Maverick XLT Luxury if I drop the Copilot 360 from my order? Well, it could. I mean, because again, the more of those you have on there, you have the Luxury and the Copilot. Those are two things that could be a bearing in that. The Copilot is less of a constraint than the Luxury package. But if Luxury package is something you want, I would maybe consider the Copilot 360. I hate telling somebody to take something off, especially a safety feature item. I think Copilot 360 should have been standard equipment this year. I said it in a video that I did and sent off to Ford, but I mean, that should have been standard equipment, in my opinion, on all of them. So I hate that to see that being a constraint item at all, and I don't like telling people to take it off. But that's just my take on it. I would, if it were me, I'd leave them both on, but it would help your order if you probably took one of them off. Hate to say that, but all right. Christopher said, sorry if you covered this, but the memo said COVP is optional, but ROVP is required. Well, okay, by the 5th, what's the difference? So what they're talking about, retail order verification is different than what ROVP was last year. So retail order verification is COVP. They are the one and the same. So yeah, so they said that basically what they said was that it is recommended for dealers to do, but won't be required in scheduling. So that's kind of what that means. So the dealers should do the COVP. So again, I think it will affect some things down the road. Tim, now that the 22 Maverick order is history, what 5 things you got right and 5 things you missed the mark on for 22 Maverick process? That's a good question. I might have to bypass on that. I've done a lot of videos and talked about a lot of things for the order process or the conversion process, because I totally missed the mark on that. I really, at one point, thought they would do it just like they did with Bronco, and I was totally wrong. You had to put new orders in, which, by the way, was kind of a mess, so hopefully they don't ever do that again. But I'd have to think back on that. That's probably not something I can just answer real quickly. So, but great question there. So Kevin said, when we ordered on 9/15, does our new Maverick interest rates go at that date and go into effect when Smart Vents at that time? So yeah, Ford will say when your vehicle comes in, Ford knows what day you ordered the vehicle, and it'll be on that date that those incentives will be available. Right now, I don't think there are any good rates available on the Maverick at this point in time. I can look. Let's look at Locator and see if there's any Mavericks out there. We can see what rates are right now, but I don't think they're any good for the Maverick. Anytime there's, just so you know, anytime there's a hot product, there won't be any incentives. Like right now, we're seeing rebates on the Edge and the Escape, because those are 2 models that don't sell out. So that's why we see rebates on those, and we don't see rebates on any of the others. So here's a Maverick at a dealership. Let's just see what the rebates look like right now. Okay. See, like that one flagged. You could see where the order date was. All right. See if I could do this. Oop. Oh. Come back. Okay. Let's just see. There you go. So there's one at some dealer close to us. You can see right there it says incentive protected on February 22nd. So they made some change on that order on February 22nd, and that's why it got changed. This says it was a fleet type originally. So maybe it was a retail. They flipped over to fleet. I don't know. But if I do pick today's date, right? You're seeing what? Well, pretty decent. 1.9 for 36, 2.9 for 48, 3.9 for 60. So you would be locked into those interest rates right now when you put your order in. So if you put your order in today, if those were the same that they were back then, those were the rates that you would get locked into if you want to take that route. Now, don't forget McArthur, because this came up this week, and the customer's real upset with me. But just keep in mind, if you're wanting a free shipping deal, we can't lock in and use these rates, because at that rate there, we will not make up for $1,000 for shipping costs. So just so you know that, make sure everybody knows that. Most people watch this know what that is, but just want to let you know that. But if we go back to this, and instead we select the protect date, that would be based on this one, this order, and when it was submitted, and see if it's different for. And you're good. All right. So it is actually, see, 0.9 for 36, 1.9 for 48, and 2.9 for 60. So back then when that order was submitted, and it's based on the 22nd of February, because that's when they made a change. They made some change that day. Then that's what it was. So in this case, the protect date or the original order date was best than it is today. So, but yeah, that's how we do that. So, all right, next question. Yeah, and don't forget, if you're wanting a free shipping deal or something like that, or pay for some of the travel expenses that come up, we are not going to be able to do those same incentives on your order for McArthur. So that's one of the deals. Again, I've always been transparent about it. I have to pay for the shipping cost somewhere, and I like to, instead of it being taken out of the price or added to the price, we ask you to finance at standard rates. So that's something to keep in mind for those that putting in an order with McArthur. So I want to mention that because somebody tried telling me that was not the case this week, and they're not very happy with me. All right. What is COVP? It stands for Customer Order Verification Program. Great question. I sometimes forget we've been talking about this for a while, but some of you haven't been watching for a while, so thank you. Can Copilot 360 be added to the Maverick trimmer, and will that delay the order? Yes and yes, probably. So again, it's a constraint item, and the trimmer alone is already hard enough to get constrained, let alone adding that on. But like especially if you have like a Maverick trimmer, luxury package, and Copilot, that's probably going to take a little longer to schedule than somebody that just does the trimmer package. Does a Maverick brand manager watch your streaming? I don't think so. Probably not. All right, I think I'm down at the bottom, but I think it's going to pop up and tell me I'm not. So. Let me look at my stream here instead. So, all right. Maybe I am at the bottom. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Now I'm on overtime at this point. I actually was joking, thinking about it. I was going to tell people, well, if you have any questions after 9 p.m., you have to pay for it. No, just kidding. No. All right. So we got another question here. McArthur, the remote start option they took off the lecture package is for the key fob only. It will start with app without that option. Correct. So that is having the remote start on the remote. So that's what that means. So you can still use the app. That functionality will still work regardless. So I'll put in a Bronco order tomorrow. Question about steel bash plates. I would like to know if modular bumpers are required. You're going to have bash plates without the modular bumper. So it's a little different than, there is some sort of bash plate, but you get upgraded to the steel bash plate with that bumper. So and don't forget, hopefully you're saying you're putting in an order tomorrow. Hopefully you had a reservation already, because they're not taking any new Bronco orders at this point in time. You either need to have a carryover 22 or a reservation that you've been holding on to that you have not converted to an order yet. So you said Maverick order customers don't need to worry about COVP, but also said there is a October 5th deadline for COVP submission. Please explain. Well, Ford's saying they recommend people to do that, and they are just putting a cutoff date of when they can, for them to complete that. So we've been needed to COVP orders for the whole last year, and Ford's still looking at that. They're saying it's not any bearing into allocation. See, last year, a COVP order helped you gain allocation and get allocations, because they gave you extra allocations based on how many COVP orders, confirmed orders you had. This year, they're saying all those orders are going to be taken out of your allocations, and allocations will not be given based on that information, but still want dealerships to do that so they can see those real orders, and those will be affected because your percentages, if you don't have a high enough percentage, it's going to go down. So if you don't COVP one and you sell one, then it'll come out of an allocation, but it won't go into that COVP, so you won't keep that percentage high. So, all right. Let's see here. McArthur, when do you get Ford Pass points, and how many when a sale is complete? Yep, when it's complete is when you get the points. So, and I think it's 42,000. I think it comes to like 2 oil changes basically. So it's like $200, $210 or something like that. See, McArthur, you're right. It is overtime. Time for me to call it. Thanks again for all you do. And I know you guys are an hour ahead, so it's like 10 o'clock there, so it's bedtime. So yes. So yes, be safe, Jack. Hopefully everything goes, storm goes down before it hits you. But yeah, let us know how things go. Keep us updated. All right, Steve says, Tim, thanks for answering my question. No problem. Do the best I can. All right. The financing deals explicitly say 2022 Maverick. So does that mean I can't use it on a 23 order? No, I was just looking and seeing what incentives are right now. So when you put your order in, and that is for 2022, so it may be different on a 23 right now. So we're not able to see what it is at this currently right now on a 23. There's one other place that I can look, and that is the summary grid. That might give me information on, and I don't know if they have 23 in there or not, but that is, you're right, that is on a 22, and so will be different for a 23 model year as well. So they do have 23 information. Show you this. All right, so what's it? See if they have 23 Maverick in here. SUVs, trucks, Maverick 23. So see standard rates. So, oh, well, that's commercial. Here it goes. APR financing right over here, right hand column. APR financing standard rates. So there is no special rate right now for a new 23 order. So there is dealer cash of a couple $100. So, and this dealer cash is how quickly you sell a vehicle. It goes down in increments, and they lose some of that. So yeah, so dealer gets, for a new reach, basically if you ordered a vehicle, when it comes in, dealer will get $250 basically to sell that on for any markup. So anyway, that's about it. There are some more columns. What are these other columns? Red carpet lease. So there's your lease rates. What was the first column? Maverick excluding XL. So lease rates are not good. So you, if you're looking at a lease rate, you want something in the 2s or less. Otherwise, it's not worth leasing, in my opinion. There you go. So, and then yeah, there's nothing on the Maverick right now. So anyway. All right. Thank you, Michael, for bringing that up. Appreciate it. I think about that. All right. Did I miss some questions? I might have. All right, thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it. All right, I have a reservation on the Heritage. Says bash plates require modular bumper on the Black Diamond. It does not. Are the bash plates different on the Heritage than the Black Diamond? Great question. Bronco. By the way, Bronco order guide's a little thick. So let's look at it. Because I know on the Heritage Edition, when you're looking at it, and I hate where Bronco put the Heritage Edition, because I think it really should be right after the Big Ben, because it actually is based off of the Big Ben trim, plus other equipment, and they actually put it more towards the end. Here it is. Heritage Edition. So when you're looking at the Heritage Edition order guide, it'll tell you all this. It says all Big Ben series standard equipment plus these features that are on this page. So let's just see what it says. It says bumpers are front and rear powder coated steel, fenders, grill, steel bash plates under front section of vehicle. So that's what you're getting. So that's going to be standard on the Heritage Edition. Now, I do know that when they go to the, when they talk about the bumper, because also Sasquatch is standard on a Heritage Edition, as well as the mid package is standard on the Heritage Edition. Now, when you're looking at the, that bumper, by the way, I'd recommend it. It's pretty cool. Where's that? Yeah, I don't see it as optional equipment. So that, I think that's probably what standards, what maybe you were looking at. But yeah, it's coming with the bash plate, steel bash plate. So it says the bumper is front and rear powder coated steel. And then it says down here, steel bash plates under front section of vehicle. So yeah, you're still getting the bash plates on the Heritage Edition. So yeah, they all get steel bash plate. All right, did I miss any other questions? All right. Are the bash plates different on the Heritage than on the Black? Okay, let's look at the Black Diamond. I didn't see the second part of that question. Sorry about that. So on the Black Diamond, it says full vehicle steel bash plates. So on the Black Diamond, it's kind of like the Badlands. So instead of just getting it under the front, you're getting the steel bash plates going all the way to protect it underneath. So you're getting a full vehicle bash plate instead of just on the front. So hopefully that helps out and answers that question. So great question. McArthur is your guys. Whenever I have to look something up to get you the answer, good question. McArthur is your guys' internal financing pretty accepting of most credit and situations? Yes, we have about 20 different lenders. We work with a lot of national lenders like Chase, Fifth Third, and then we work with a lot of local credit unions that will also do national lending and such. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we have a lot of good different lenders. So Blanca, more money. What are you doing? I'm gonna tell your husband, put away your credit card. So thank you very much, Blanca. All right, really appreciate it. It's not full of Black Diamond understanding. Understand, great to know. Yeah, I like the Black Diamond. You know, I really like it. I didn't think if I saw a Black Diamond in person before I ordered mine, I probably would have went with the Black Diamond. I like the look of the Black Diamond. That's why I went to the Black Diamond grill on mine. I like the modular front bumper that came on that last year or in 21. I like the side rails on it. The only thing I wasn't sure of is if I would be okay with the vinyl seats and the vinyl flooring. That's one of the main reasons I went to Big Ben trim myself. But yeah, Black Diamond I think I really like the look of it. I really do. So McArthur Tim, you're a machine. Thank you for all the work you do. Thank you. Happy to have ordered 23 Maverick with y'all. Hope you have a great rest of the night. From Washington, D.C. Thank you, Blanca. All right, and Mike. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. Interest in a subprime vehicle mortgage. Can McArthur interest you in a subprime vehicle mortgage? All right, McArthur, no question. Tim, but there is a Rapid Red First Edition Hybrid Maverick sitting in my driveway. It sure does drive different than my 64 Galaxy 500. That's dinosaur. Yes. So congrats. I know you've been waiting on it. So good to see that you got it. So congrats. Tim keeps going, and it's 9:12. Yes. Well, I keep getting questions. If you guys stop giving me questions, I'll stop. But all right. So Sweet Bear Cub says, question. I have a door sheet and Ford confirmation email for a 23 Maverick order I placed with a dealer, but I have no COVP. How should I handle that? I think you're just asking your dealer, if they, sent yours in for COVP. So that's the biggest deal, is to just put that in there. Let's see if they'll do that. So, all right, Ed, thank you very much for $5 donation. Appreciate it. All right. Any other questions? All right, Syntax Error said, did I miss it? But how many allocations did you guys get for 23 model year Maverick? I actually did not say, because I don't think that's going to be, I don't, for one, they had said not to share that out there, but I don't think that that's what we're going to end up with, because to tell a dealer this is what you're going to get for the whole year when they can't even figure out what they're going to do on a monthly basis. So that's really not, that's why we have a number there, and it's a number that also goes along with the, your orders from last year that carried over. So they're making sure all the dealers get enough orders, enough allocations to cover all their 22 orders. So anything that got rolled over they had from last year, they received that many allocations plus a certain number. And that number is not for us if we don't understand that number very well. And it is low. It's lower than what we have, of course. What they told us we're getting is not enough for our orders. I'll tell you that. But I don't think that that's done yet. That's why I don't really want to kind of put that out there. I don't want to scare people and make people worry, because we're going to get more information on that. And there's still a lot of allocations that are yet to be given out. They even admitted to that. And yeah, so that's why I want to kind of talk about that. Now we're getting 63 for this for the startup build, so we'll get 63. That'll take care of hopefully 63 of our last year's orders, which would be a bulk of those. So I'm encouraged to see that, and we'll just see how a month rolls, because the way they're going to base it is it should be a rolling. It should roll every month. So 1 month, like especially since we're probably going to sell close to 50 Mavericks in the month of October. Really depends on the ones that just came in. We had like 12 that just came in. If those don't get taken care of in the next 3 days, they'll roll over to October. And it might be our benefit to us to roll them to October. But anyway, those will roll over. So we had 25 in Kansas City before the last week's live stream, and 38 on the way to Kansas City that were at least hit Arizona. So we have 50 to 60 that are in transit. 10 of those came in. So we still have another 50 that need to come in. And so that's going to roll over. So next month, that number should be bigger than what their little formula thing is going to show. So that's why I don't really want to go by that number. So, all right. Is it Peruet? Anyway, thank you very much for that donation. Appreciate it. Just because. Appreciate it. Such nice people. All right. James said, I'm not sure any clarification on the body-colored painted mirror caps and door handles on the black appearance package. All right, got the order guide right here. So yeah, so what it says, we actually did look at that. Had somebody that was interested in that. So it does say contains black 18-inch machine face ebony wheel, black edition Ford logo, front and back, door handles, grill, mirrors, interior accents, seats, headlamps, taillights. So according to this, it doesn't say, it would normally say if it's just on the Lariat or the XLT, it usually will say that like it does on the trimmer appearance package. But on the black appearance package, it does say the door handles will be black. It does say contains black. It doesn't say painted black, of course, because seats wouldn't be painted, but and it does say mirrors. So door handles and mirrors. So the mirrors will be black. So I do have the media guide. Let me look here. What did I do with that? Is that still on my homepage, my desktop? It is not. Of course not. Why would it be? All right. Let me look, because I actually have an image. Actually, the thumbnail, I used that image from the marketing guide. By the way, you guys liking the thumbnails and the backdrops? I have a viewer to thank for that. So somebody that does that for me, that watches the videos. So Nathan Chapman does a great job for me. And he's been doing that for me for free. He's been comping that for me, and he does a great job on the thumbnails. So kudos to him on that. So anyway, just throwing that out there, because he does a great job. And you know, I let him know kind of what my topic is on a Monday, and he gets me that thumbnail before we go live. And so I always update that for that. So let me go into this here. Order guys. And where's Maverick? Scroll. Packaging guide. Here we go. So I think it's page 5. Here we go. So yes, it does show, it does say door handles on here, and that's what I don't understand on all those, because the mirror caps are black, the badging is black, which I don't mention that in here. The wheels are black, the grille is black, but the door handles are body colored. So that's the one thing I wasn't sure, is if the door handles say they're black in here, but they're not showing on the image from Ford Marketing, does not show black. And when you look at theirs, it actually says contains black door handles. So I'm not sure on that right there. So that's how I can see one. I actually did ask the brand manager if he could send me any images of what they're going to look like, because I don't know for sure. Maybe I just need to tell him this is what the order guide says, but your images do not show that. So all right, Tim, please use your magic beans to make all color options. I don't think I have any. If he has an order number from McArthur. Yes, he does. And I won't go into too much of that, but as a member, he is a member, and we've kind of gone over that for ordered a hybrid Lariat with all the bells and whistles, 923 and constraints. Have a VIN number and build date of 10/10. Awesome. Will it be built or as ordered? Yes, it will. It definitely will. All right. Any other questions? I think I'm to the bottom. Okay, I'll have to call it quits. It's 9:20. If I want to get out of here by 10, I'm going to have to call it good so that I can get the podcast up and running tonight. So I want to thank you guys for all the great questions, as always, and thank you for all the great topics and everything and questions that you have. And hope you guys enjoyed the live stream earlier and everything went on today. And don't forget, I'll be looking, if you want to, of course, have any other questions, for FordVideoGuy@gmail.com. Those questions down there, and Sarah can answer most of those questions. If she can't, then I can. And then if you have any questions, you want to get a vehicle from us, then you go to the timothybarts@gmail.com. And of course, the Linktree account. Oh, wrong way. Right there. See that Linktree right there? That shows that Linktree account, Ford Video Guy. That's all the different places you can find me on social media and other different places as well. Right there, pretty easy to do. Yep. So thank you very much. And let's see, Mike, you just say Robert Botfield said you have an order number. Yes, I got if we submitted your order, you have an order number. So everybody does have an order number, and I'll tell you yours on the member video. So we talk about that. So anyway, other than that, I think we can call it quits. Thank you guys very much for joining me tonight on the live stream, and appreciate it. And if you want to come over to the Facebook Live on Thursday night, I'll be over there. Otherwise, we'll see you back here on next Tuesday, and I'm going to be trying to pump out as many videos as I can by this weekend for you guys to be looking for those. Most of them probably centered around the Bronco, since there's a lot of people that have 22s to 23s that want to kind of see how those look, as well as I'll try to get Maverick ones done as well. So maybe I'll just throw them in between each other. But anyway, we'll try to pump those out. So be looking for those videos as well this week. So again, thank you very much. We'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.